Translate.
Hello, everyone. We were muted. Sorry, I'm still... and I got to unmute you guys too.
Hello.
We can all talk.
Oh, hello.
Let's all talk over each other.
So
I'm happy to be muted.
We're already having some technical issues in the fact that I left it to the last minute to set up the stream overlay, and I used display capture instead of window capture. So now I have one window that I can't close, or you'll stop seeing everybody. But that's okay. Welcome to everyone to Nameless Terrible Things, which is the name of our Call of Cthulhu campaign, as well as Chimp's sketchbook full of Garfield drawings,
as well as Chimp.
that our private Discord
me for
channel
that
is
later.
full of, and I'm being merciful in not showing it to you. Much pregnant Vor Garfield.
Oh boy.
Did I make you
Who
remember
kicked
that?
off that train?
Did I make you remember that, Max? when you didn't want to remember it?
Oh God.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was an affront to God.
Expose him. Yes.
Yay, Reg.
Get him out. All right. So we're going to start off by introducing the characters, and just basically going to go over their names and like a little bit about them, what they do, what their life is like in the year 1921 where they find themselves. And we'll just sort of go around the horn. So that means I start with Chimp.
You're a horn.
You're a horn. Tell me about your character or die. Yes, I work in library.
My character's name is S.M. Murphy. They're a bit of a dilettante. I did actually write a single sentence sort of thing about them, which was essentially like to do with like knowledge is power, power is money, and that's, I would do anything to get it sort of a thing. So I'm incredibly powerful, and I will pay someone to die. Stream.
Okay. You'll pay someone to die. So, like, give them money to be killed.
Oh yeah, and I'm fully assuming someone's gonna be, taking that offer.
Mac thinks your name stands for Stuart McCune.
We know that it stands for Super Mario Murphy. I think we all do.
And now we go to Apom. Apom, tell us about your character.
My character's name is Cornelius Braithwaite. He comes from a rich family of, fucking the worst people, who, incredible wealth, and he went to university and he just scraped by. He wasn't good enough because he thought he was owed everything, so he wasn't actually particularly good at anything. So he was cut out of his father's will and cut out of the estate, so he has no money. So he's now had to become the manservant or butler to S.M. Murphy to earn a keep and work his way back up the social ranks and the social standing so he can become the aristocrat he believes he is destined to be, even though no one up there wants him, and frankly, we don't need any more aristocrats. But he believes we do, and he believes he is owed that. But he's also a butler and resentful for it.
I just want to take a pause for a moment to point out that T just had to add the term "I'll kill you" to the channel, which means we're off to a rocking start, everybody.
I'm sorry if that was against what you wanted,
No,
but
it's fine.
it was Matt.
I thought it was worth pointing out. Mac's allowed to threaten people with this.
Yeah.
He does it all the time. T, let's move on to your character.
Mine is Charlotte Genovese, but everyone calls me Lottie. I was born to a very rich, upstanding family, but that bored me. I got very bored by that. So, with all my brains and my beauty and everything else that came with me, I married into the mafia. And behind every strong man, there is a strong and smarter woman. So I am the wife to someone higher in the mafia. It is currently prohibition, so we need to get the alcohol to run the pubs, all that stuff. That's where we're at this point in time.
We're a year into Prohibition in the story.
Yeah.
And now we move to Chrames.
Yeah, well, Raymond Doyle spent his World War One out in the trenches and saw some stuff that made him question some things, not fit into society so much. Not fit in too well back in society, so did a bit of reading and is now an explorer, taking rich people where they want to go in distant places.
Very cool. The reason that T had to stop for a laugh there was because Raquel said, "I'll kill you" story after. And had to permit that term as well. So now all forms of "I'll kill you" are available in the chat. So welcome, any potential murderers. So our last edition is Laxlum.
That's me. I'm Charles. I'm 20 years old, and I'm just riding off my father's coattails. I love to party. I'm not especially amazing in any regard, and as such, my father doesn't quite recognize me as a man. And so I'm constantly trying to prove myself to him, because I do want to inherit his worth, but he just so far hasn't accepted that I'm a man yet.
And that actually brings us to our setting. We find ourselves in the city of Lima in Peru in 1921. You've all, for various and sundry reasons, joined this expedition that's being. You've only heard about it in the newspapers, really. You haven't. You've had some brief contact with, lawyers and such that represent Mr. Augustus Larkin of Kenya, but he is.
People stop threatening each other in the chat.
You haven't really met him so much. He's just sort of been looking to hire people to be part of an expedition.
So have we received letters from him asking us to
telegrams from him to meet you here on this day at this place, which is the Bar Corazon, which is in the heart of Lima's downtown. And some of you are here as employees of Larkin, like Raymond. You're here because you have some familiarity with the territory, not in the area that we're heading or that he says he's heading, but you do know. You've been through the jungle before. You know the pitfalls of that. Whereas S.M. Murphy and Lottie Genovese, you may have less bought your way onto the expedition in the interest of getting a hand on the treasure that Larkin has promised he's going to find. And he's always needs funding to pay for, equipment and the salaries of the people involved. And obviously that means that you can sort of go, you've gone to sort of supervise, maybe out of an interest in adventure, or maybe just to make sure that he's not down there injecting all your hard-earned money into his arm. You just want to make sure that Larkin is doing what he promised, and what he promised was finding an ancient city full of gold, and giving you a share of it. Obviously, Cornelius, you've been dragged along with S.M. Murphy.
You can just call me Murphy. We don't need the Super Mario part of it.
Super Mario's. No, you've been dragged along with Murphy, and you've sort of been shanghaied into helping out with stuff around the expedition.
Yeah.
Although maybe you are making sure that everyone is aware that your job is as a manservant and butler, not as a labourer. And Charles, I guess you're just happy to be here. This is an ideal opportunity. Larkin, you sort of know about him through high society circles. You know that he's a bit of a jet setter. You may have even met him once in Nairobi, where he's from. Keeping in mind that Kenya is a British colony at this point, so there's a lot of aristocratic English people sort of living out there. And this is obviously a good chance to make a name for yourself, in the sense that if you come back from the wilds of South America with a truck full of gold and antiquities to pass on to various and sundry museums, like the old world aristocrat that you are, it may reflect well on you, and in turn please the senior Mr. Jepson. Antiguades. So you find yourselves at the appointed place and time. It is a bar called Bar Corazon.
No.
Yeah, with your little flicker of the cameras. That's because of my display
We're
capture
phasing.
problem, and you'll have to just ignore it. It's a telegraph you've all received, which reads simply, "Thank you for joining the expedition. Stop. Please join me in Lima. Stop. Have booked you a room at Hotel More. Stop. Meet 18th of March at 7 p.m. at Bar Cordano. Sorry, I've named it wrong. And he gives you the address, which is Giron Ancash 202, Distrito de Lima. Stop. Those of you in Spanish know that that's just 202 Ancash Street in Lima. Those of you that don't can probably work it out from signs. So off you head. You find yourselves outside Bar Cordano. It's a relatively small place. It's just a concrete wall with like a wooden door. A wooden door, sort of like just in the featureless wall. But it's the place. It's got a little sign above it with the text telling you the name of the bar. I'll sort of let you all take your time in going inside, and you can sort of tell me what you do once you arrive here, so I'm not railroading you too much. Let's go in turns. I'll sort of go by who goes first. So I'll keep going around in the circle. So Murphy, what do you do as you arrive?
I'd like a drink, please.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Cornelius is with you as you step up to the bar.
Yes, within sort of a 2-meter radius at least.
The bartender greets you in Spanish. Do you speak Spanish?
No. I look at Cornelius and I kind of raise my eyebrow like, you better speak Spanish.
Hang on, let me have a look here. Under my languages tab, it does not have anything that is actually a language.
You only speak
So I take
in that case, you only speak English.
Yeah.
So the bartender kind of looks at you for a second and then kind of nods knowingly and says, English. And he sort of goes, he speaks in sort of stuttering English a little bit. And you manage to sort of get what you want from behind the bar, and he pours it for you and passes it over. And he looks at Cornelius and says, "Senor."
I just sort of point at a glass and then just some whiskey, just a shot of whiskey. But I also try and do it so that Murphy. I try to do it so that Murphy doesn't see. Like it's not like a big point. It's like a quiet. Like I'm not supposed to be asked for anything, but I'm pointing and I want a whiskey.
And Murphy, if you'd like to,
Can I roll?
Yeah, if you want to do a spot hidden check, we'll see if you spot Cornelius's quiet request for So it's a hard success. So if you want to do a stealth check, Cornelius, just to see how
Yep.
you
I'm
go. Against,
always vigilant. I'm always looking.
Sorry, where is stealth?
on the far right
in
column.
your skills.
All right, column. Sorry, bear with me. Stealth.
So,
Aha!
So unfortunately for you, Murphy spots you as you kind of surreptitiously try to order your big glass of whiskey. Murphy, what do you say?
Please slap him.
Like a funny. Hey, I'll have a root beer, please.
So the bartender kind of looks from Cornelius to Murphy and then pulls a warm, sweating bottle of root beer out from under the bar and sort of plonks it in front of you, Cornelius, and kind of gives you a like if the sound of a whip crack could be done with an eyebrow, that's what you'd hear right now.
I pick up the root beer and I take off the cap and I've got the glass, I've got the bottle there, and I'm maintaining eye contact with Murphy because I feel like Murphy will now judge me if I don't drink it. So I just maintaining eye contact, slowly drink the root beer as like I'm repulsed by it, trying not to vomit everywhere, really struggling through it, but I'm maintaining eye contact the whole time whilst the bartender is pouring Murphy's drink. And by the end of it, I sort of go like this, and there's a bit of bubbles because I've turned it too fast. There's some foam that sort of dribbles out the side of my mouth, and I just have this really half-assed, fake smile, like, cheers.
So
Can I interrupt this?
Arrival now, yes.
Can I walk over to them as I arrive and look at this repulsed look on this poor man's face and go to the bartender and go, "Can I please get 2 double shots with the ice in?"
He's like sort of raises his eyebrows like, "Ooh, ice," and he pours them. And you sort of pass the money across the counter. It's not a large expense for you.
And I hand them both to both Murphy and Braithwaite.
Double parked.
So Cornelius, you now have the whiskey that you had hoped for.
Not just one shot, a double shot.
Yeah.
Even though Murphy probably knows I've got whiskey, I still try and obscure it. So I have the glass of whiskey here in this hand, and then the bottle out the front like this, and I drink it like this. I was trying to obscure it with the root beer bottle. Yeah.
So the three of you are at the bar currently, Raymond, as you walk in.
Yep. Glance around. Besides the clear foreigners at the bar, is there many people around?
It's a busy night. You feel like this is probably a popular night spot. And you can see it's mostly locals. They're all kind of well dressed because they're the sort of upper crust of the local population. But you do see 2 people that seem kind of out of place. There's one a European-looking man who's got a kind of wasted features, like maybe his eyes are sunken and his cheekbones kind of poke out. His hair is blonde, but a kind of like colorless blonde that just kind of looks like it's sort of greasy and sort of stuck back against his head. He's wearing a white suit with with a shirt, but there's no tie. He's sort of left his top button unbuttoned and his sleeves have been rolled up, and he's sitting at a table, sort of gregariously talking to another man, an African American man in a hat and sort of a nice suit, and they're kind of chatting away to each other amicably. And there's a man who looks local, with a sort of similar sunken look about him and a real sour look on his face, and his arms crossed over his chest, and he's not engaging in the conversation.
Mm-hmm. We're going to walk into this thing, glance over at them, look for any kind of look of recognition on the way to the bar, and upon not receiving...
Larkin, the man in the white suit kind of pauses for a moment, and he sort of looks over the top of the Hispanic man next to him, and he sort of looks at you and raises his eyebrows, and then he sort of looks past you to the bar, and he starts waving. And as he's waving, Charles, that's when you enter the bar.
All right, so I'm gonna walk in loud and proud, like basically bust open the door, sort of take in the atmosphere. And it's very important to note that I'm not very fluent in Spanish. I just know enough to get by. So I just sort of stride up to the bar and say, "Cinco tequila, por favor."
Can I get you to roll your Spanish language for me?
No.
That wasn't a good enough performance. What are you talking about?
Does anyone actually speak Spanish in this group?
Chose a different language.
I know how to ask for 5 tequilas.
Okay, so...
I don't think my character speaks anything other than English.
No, I hacked my language as well because I wanted more gunpowder.
So it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so you just say Cinco, and like he speaks a little bit of English as well, and he just kind of looks at you, raises an eyebrow, and then he puts one shot glass on the bar, and then another, and then another, and he's like looking at you the whole time, like, you know, Cinco is 5, right? And he finally puts the 5 out. And then he waves the tequila bottle across the top of them, sets them on a tray for you, and sort of waits for you to pay first because it's not a.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So you pay,
I'll pay the man.
You take the money, and he passes the tray to you, and that's when you sort of see these other 4 foreigners.
Oh yes, and they caught my eye on the way in, so I've decided to buy them all a drink.
For me, now with 3 drinks in my hand.
So yeah, as you sort of arrive at the table, and it looks like it looks like it's been set up for your number, so you don't have to like pilfer chairs from the next, like it's from the next table or anything.
I'm going to the white suited man's table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, he sort of stands up, and he looks immediately past you, Raymond, and towards Murphy and Lottie, and says, Mrs. Genovese, Miss Murphy, it's such a pleasure to see you both. I'm Augustus Larkin. I'm so glad you've managed to make it. I'll introduce you to our I see you've brought a... And he sort of pauses and he looks to Cornelius and says, I see you've brought a companion. Is this... Well...
I get that a lot. We're not involved. He's my manservant.
Oh, I see.
He'll be helping out on the trip. Feel free to ask him to do whatever.
Oh, so he works?
Yes, he works for me.
Oh, okay.
For money.
Very good.
He interjects and says, for money. He
money.
makes it very clear that he's being paid by Murphy.
I'm sure Ms. Murphy will give you remuneration, acceptable remuneration. And Mr. Jepson, I've met your father on several occasions. He's quite the powerful man. How is he doing?
He's well. He has just signed a new contract recently, so he's been a busy man.
Oh.
Yep, business. That's his game.
Call for business, please.
Do you not have like work to do with him if he's got such a contract? I mean, I'm glad to have you aboard, but I thought you were quite busy.
He's given me some time off, so I've decided to come on a little venture with you all.
Well, that's quite fortuitous. And this is Mr. Raymond Doyle. He's an explorer, quite familiar with the not the specific terrain, but the area we're going to. I believe he will be quite valuable as we proceed towards Punyo and the temple beyond. I suppose I should get you all acquainted with my other two compatriots here. This is Mr. Jesse Hughes, and he sort of points to the African-American man with the hat, and he kind of like smiles at you very amicably and tips his hat towards you. He doesn't say anything. And he says, and this is Luis Mendoza, who is my associate. And Mendoza just kind of grunts and says something in Spanish that none of you understand.
If he's not asking for tequila, I don't know.
Please, all of you, please take a seat, and I'll endeavor to elucidate you about our expedition. And he sort of
without even thinking twice, I just go over, pull up a seat, and just sit down without even waiting for anyone else to move.
Very good.
Oh, rude. No.
It's like a woman of action. Much appreciated.
I'll sit down as well. With my 3... Hold on, are the drinks on the table? Because I can't physically hold my drink.
Yeah, you can put your drink
Lottie
on the table.
I've been quite the gentleman, and I've waited for you to sit down before giving you your drink.
Oh, okay.
Third drink.
Then I don't have to, like, triple, like... I like sips of each of them at different times.
I just like that Murphy bought themselves a drink and then was bought several drinks afterwards.
I get this a lot. People look at me and think alcoholic, you know? It might be the gloves, I don't know.
So, at this point, a waiter comes by and starts handing out menus to all of you. And Larkin says, "Now don't worry about the cost of the meals. That will be entirely on me, and all your drinks from the rest of the night, because I feel I owe it to you to be a wonderful host. Or as good a hostess I can be. So what what the expedition will entail is we will go out into the highlands. We may have to take a couple days to acclimatize to the thinning air. But once we are there, we will head on into the mountains where there is, I am told, I've acquired a few interesting items that suggest that I am well on track to find the location that we're looking for. There is this alpaca farmer in Punyo, which is a town up on one of the lakes in the highlands. And he says that his grandfather found a pyramid and tunnels beneath it, and that his grandfather never returned there, but there were other treasures in the tunnel. It's all couched in superstition and, you know, ancient gobbledygook, scary monsters. Nothing to worry about. And while his grandson was not able to give me the exact location, but I believe that my research has done enough to narrow down the search, and we are within a hair's breadth of finding it and exploring it for ourselves, and we won't have any scary ghosts or ancient gods to fear.
That's very good.
Why is that? Sorry?
Well, such things don't exist.
Oh, yes. Take another sip of my drink.
He kind of like, he smiles at Murphy, and he's just kind of, but he kind of like glances sideways at, it's like, if you would like, I can show you my evidence, because I couldn't expect you to take it on my word alone. And so he sort of pulls out a bag and like wrapped up in some cloth, and he
The first thing that popped in my mind is like evidence that they don't exist.
Here's my ghost evidence.
And he says, one thing he lays out is a pendant, which is in the form of a man holding 2 rods and staves, embellished with rectangular shapes. And once he lays that out, he says, "Feel free to take a look." And he lays out another, which is a golden cup that's got geometrical patterns and circles inlaid with turquoise. And if anyone has archaeology as a skill, they could potentially
I
have an idea about these. Oh, if you'd like to roll it, go ahead.
Yeah.
You for getting in there before me.
Ooh.
I have one archaeology.
Maybe
Apparently,
not.
so do we all.
Shit. Shit.
Did you both roll?
You got so close there.
Me and Apon's characters are like looking at them like,
I think both Cornelius and Murphy are a little tipsy at this point, but they're also incompetent when it comes to archaeology.
Yeah.
So they're sort
This
of
is
talking
actually
back and
very
forth, being like,
brand.
"Oh yes, I see," but they don't see at all.
I'm not worried about that stuff. I still want to see the map that you guys have put together.
Oh,
You're holding out.
absolutely. He pulls out a map. It's like a large map of Lima itself, like of Peru itself. Like covers the entire country, and it shows a long trek from here in Lima to Puno, which is on Lake Titicaca. Get your laughs out of the way now.
Hey, thank you.
I'm
And-
a child.
And from there it leads. It's kind of it's not exactly pinpoint. There's no settlements there, so it's just kind of. It's not. It's not quite here be dragons, but it's very much like, hey, fill in the blanks if you're ever out this way, you know. So he sort of shows you the map, and he says, obviously, we don't have a direct route to the pyramid, but with the evidence we have at hand, and my research, I feel we are looking in this very small area, and he sort of circles where he believes it is to be. And we shouldn't take long at all to uncover it.
Yeah. Did you know where the farm was that was nearby, or
Well, I met
probably not too forthcoming, eh?
I met the chap here in Lima. He was trying to make some extra money for himself. So I've never visited the farm myself, but I believe it's up here in the highlands around Puno.
I may ask, if he was trying to make money for himself, why did he not do this himself?
Well, he's like most of the locals. They're fearful of ancient blood gods and spirits that dwell in the pyramid.
Would there not be a reason for that?
What,
Superstition.
Yeah, but would superstition not come from something?
I'm sure it comes from
Stories.
something in the past, in the distant past, but I don't think it's anything a well-armed cadre of experienced expeditionaries couldn't handle.
Sexy. No.
Sexy, yes, agreed. Pardon my language.
Well, I will
Some
inform
safety
I will inform my husband that you called us this when I get home.
Who is your husband, if I might be so?
Just call him Mr. Genovese.
And being a British man from Kenya, that really has. You see, Larkin kind of smiles and nods, but you see he has there's no recognition in his eyes when you say it.
And that's good,
Yeah.
because we don't like to be known.
Quick question, sorry.
Yes.
I missed about Murphy. Is Murphy British or American?
But I wasn't super confident on my accent, so I can
Okay.
switch to it. But it's pretty cringe.
No, it's just because I was just wondering if Murphy would recognize Genovese
So you cut out.
being a mob fella.
Sure.
You cut out Chimp.
She says that, and I'm like,
So yeah, Larkin kind of like, you know, and he says, please order some food. We can talk over dinner. You must be quite hungry. It's a long trip here. I'm assuming
Yes,
you've
I'm
all come
starving.
from America.
Yes, I have.
yes.
I'm from the New York area.
It's a very long trip. I've made the trip myself.
I am very tired. I'm still just nursing that tequila that I was given.
So he says and that's your sort of over food. It's like it's a few days journey it'll be a few days' journey to Puyo, and then I believe several more days until we reach the pyramid's location, based on the directions I got from the farmer. And I would love to show you more about my research that I've done, but I've had to destroy it. And now, before you feel too shocked, this is a precious find. I believe perhaps one of the greatest South American finds to ever be uncovered in the area. And if there's as much gold as this man believes, and rightfully believes there is, there's many others who would be willing to take it from us, and perhaps even
Murphy, your manservant has his hand up.
My question was already answered. I was going to inquire as to if there were any other expeditionaries who were potentially on this same trail. But you answered my question.
I've kept our party very small for this exact reason. I don't want. First of all, I don't want us to have to diminish our shares in the wealth.
Yes, that sounds good to me.
We achieve this by keeping our numbers small. And also, by destroying my research, I've ensured that no one will catch wind of it. The press won't publish stories about it. No yee-haws from America will come down and try to beat us there. I want to give us all the time in the world. But of course, I would like to get going as soon as possible.
At the mention of destroying data, I just like clench my steak knife, and I'm like,
But
then it's money, and I'm like,
I should add. I see the looks on your faces, and I should add that the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology at the National University. That's where I did all my study. The materials from which I drew my own research are still available, and if you would like to go and see them, I would recommend it. Any extra research we can uncover, supplemental information that we can uncover, will be greatly useful to us.
can I do it?
But it should not. I would ask that if you aim to do it soon, as we must depart as quickly as possible.
I get up from the table and I go to the library.
I don't know if Murphy would be in the best position to be doing that, because I feel like Murphy would get up and fall over.
Braithwaite follows along.
Oh, you actually
Braithwaite follows along, ready to catch Murphy if they stumble or nearly fall on the sidewalk on the way to the library.
Yeah.
So you two have actually
Knowledge is my prime directive.
Okay.
Looking at the one in the guy in the white suit, just raising an eyebrow. Should I make sure they don't get into trouble?
Well, I believe the library may be closed at this hour. Surely you can go in the morning.
That's the trouble I'm worried about.
Is this not a matter of urgency, though? Can we not just,
No,
you know...
no, I would beg that you don't manhandle your way into the library.
Oh, is this going to involve manhandling?
I should hope it doesn't.
Murphy, did you need help?
And then I give a nod of consent, and then I sit back down at the table. But you know I'm kind of peeved about it.
Oh, thank you.
Murphy, if you really need to go now, I can help you get in.
No, please. The library will be open in the morning. You will find everything you need then.
But you said this was of the most urgency.
We're not leaving until the 21st.
If you must.
To me, like behind her hand, is she just like, yeah, I'll break in for you.
Yeah.
In front of everyone else.
Yeah. It's pretty much what I'm doing.
It's like, oh, good heavens.
Oh, well, are we ordering dinner or?
Yes, please. Whatever you like.
I'm actually going to order some more drinks. I'll be back in a minute. And actually, I am going to be back in a minute, so...
Okay. So it's the
Oh, more
18th.
drinks.
So you've got a few days before you need to
Also,
set out.
at this point, do we have like personal effects on us and things like that
Yeah,
currently?
anything within reason for your
Because I was thinking
your
my
experience.
character might have like a leather journal, and he starts writing everything that he's learnt down, but just quietly so that no one else sees.
Absolutely.
He's just doing it to himself. He's just obtaining this information because he's thinking, could I potentially get more money elsewhere with this information? But he's just jotting it down for himself for no one else's consumption, and he puts it down into his little pocket or satchel or whatever he has.
He's learning. Good. I'm fucking maggoted though. At this point, I've had several. I'm like, yeah.
Can I get a Constitution roll from you then? In that case, Murphy.
Yes, let's.
It should be Constitution. Should just be at the top.
Literally.
You are not maggoted. That is a critical success. You are.
I'm like maggoted, and then I'm sitting there like.
You are holding your
not.
liquor like a champ.
You are holding your liquor like an Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you sort of order your meals, Larkin goes over like the details. He said like this. So I've arranged for your accommodations here in Lima. Once we leave for Puno, it will be unfortunately a little more rough. There's no nice hotels out that way. No Ritz-Carltons, I'm afraid. But I've hired 3 trucks for us, and drivers, of course. I wouldn't expect you to learn how to drive these.
You think I
Peruvian
don't
trucks.
already know how to drive?
I'm certain you do, Mrs. Genovese. But these trucks down here are more beast than machine. They require a great deal of percussive maintenance. You don't want to deal with them, believe me.
Okay.
And so once we arrive in Puno, I'd like to. I think the lack of roads means we should switch over to pack animals. We'll buy some food, food and supplies,
Wolves.
and then we will. I believe it will take us about 4 days' journey. That's my prediction. I can't promise.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 days' journey to the pyramid. We may have to tighten our belts a little bit in terms of food on the way back if we want to carry all the treasures. Because I can't imagine once we've made our initial visit that we will be able to keep our findings a secret for too long. But if you keep your lips sealed, and you are careful not to share your reason for visiting Peru, we may be able to keep quiet for a little while yet. And I will obviously the funding so generously provided by Ms. Murphy and Mrs. Genovese means that I will happily be able to provide supplies for all of us.
Good.
Yes. And obviously, once we arrive, I would like to find anything of special archaeological interest and return it to our base camp here in Lima. And then I'll take care of the nitty-gritty of shipping it out and obtaining reimbursement.
How do we know that you won't just run off with the treasure?
Obviously, I believe I am a trusted individual, and I hope you will, after spending some time with me, believe the same. But I will ensure that you keep your shares on you if you like. You could even sleep on them like a dragon if you so choose.
If you allow me to say, ma'am, if he catches wind of that surname, I don't think he'll cross you. That's when he takes a sip of his tequila.
Genovese. Remind me to look that up. It's an interesting name. Is it Italian?
It is indeed Italian.
Italiano. Very interesting.
Mm.
I'm not quite. I must say your English accent is impeccable. You don't sound Italian at all.
No, I married into the family.
Very good. So, and you've noticed like this conversation sort of takes place over the course of drinks and dinner, and the entire time, the man that he introduced us, Luis de Mendoza, is standing there. He's sort of sitting there silently, and he's not really doing anything except nodding in agreement with what Larkin says. And the other man, Jesse Hughes, he's also interested, but he kind of like he pops up with the occasional question, like he asks what kind of supplies you'll need, and Larkin sort of covers and says, well, anything that you need to anything you believe you need that I haven't covered for yet, you can purchase. If you provide me with a receipt, I can reimburse you for it. And Hughes also seems Jesse Hughes also seems very interested in the prospect of visiting the museum, and he kind of turns to you, Murphy, and says, he says, I wouldn't mind coming with you if you wouldn't mind a guest.
You can walk with me, but I do like to study alone.
Oh, of course. Me too.
If you get in their way, there's going to be problems. I want you to understand this. He's slurring his words slightly, Braithwaite, and Braithwaite's a little bit more cocky than he normally would be.
I have no intention of getting in anybody's way. I'm just interested to find out more about this pyramid.
Good, as are we all. But
we get a constitution check on Aphon's character.
Yeah, if he wants to do one.
Because I'm slightly entertained by Apom's character's drinking,
That is con.
I order him another drink.
So if anyone has, I'll say this, anyone that has a decent spot hidden skill, which I mean above 50, or a medicine skill above 50, you can roll that now, and we can, if you notice something, but if it's below that, don't worry about rolling it.
Right, spot hidden, what was the other one?
Medicine.
Well, it's not above 50. It's 25.
I have a 1.
And I have a 1. I have a 1 in medicine.
Hey, Pom, I'd like you to roll anyway, but just know that it's not going to contribute to this. I just want to see how low it can go.
Yeah. I mean, feel free.
Medicine. Where is it? I lost it. Where is it? There it is.
What a surprise.
Can I try my spot hidden?
Go ahead.
Nice.
It's failure as well.
Yeah, but look at the number. Look at the number.
69. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh no! At this point, you've noticed like Charles disappeared for a bit, and he came back without his suit jacket, and he was noticeably stumbly, and he's come back with a tequila shot in each hand, and he's just sort of sat down, chucked back one, and then just started nodding at everything that was being said.
He's like, "Welcome back, welcome back, Mr. Jepson," and then he sort of heaves a large sigh and kind of pushes himself up from the table, and says, I have an appointment. Nothing too urgent, I'm afraid. Just a personal phone call I need to make. Time zones. So I'll leave you here. Obviously, and he sets down some a few Peruvian sols on the, which is the currency. Sort of sets that out on the table and says, "Feel free to buy whatever drinks you might like, and I will see you tomorrow." And he sort of heaves another sigh, and he kind of gets up, and he sort of pauses for a moment, like a drunk would when they kind of like steady themselves, and then he kind of he heads out, and Mendoza doesn't even look at you. He just kind of gets to his feet and follows Larkin out, and Jesse kind of watches them go for a minute, and he's silent. He sort of, as he watches, and he waits for them to sort of disappear out the door, and then once they've been, they've gone for a few seconds, he goes, "So, we're gonna have a drink?"
Oh,
Yeah.
how loyal are you to them?
What do you mean loyal?
Straight off the bat.
Well, let's say I wanted to break into the library.
I don't know why you'd want to do that. It's open tomorrow.
Yeah, but let's say I wanted to do it now.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get myself in any trouble with the authorities. I'm here to check out that pyramid, and I don't know how far Mr. Larkin's reaches with the policia.
I can handle them.
Can the policia be
Because
moved?
I know
and sold?
I know Mr. Genovese has a long reach, but does it reach all the way to Peru?
Look, money could probably reach to Peru. I'll be fine. Just
What do we have? I mean, honestly, look, it sounds like fun. It sounds like a lark. But is it, and he goes, look, let me buy you all a drink, and we can talk more about our potential breaking and entering. And so
Yes,
he,
drink.
He sort of orders a round of drinks, and sort of once you
I'm still nursing that first tequila. I'm clearly not drinking.
So we're all what do we all think of Mr. Larkin?
Man, good.
Man, good. What about
I-
you, Mrs. Genovese? What do you think of him?
I take time to get to know people before I judge.
Cornelius, I heard you had an opinion.
He's a man who has.
So true.
He's clearly got some wealth and power
He
here.
does.
He seems like the kind of man who would have a son and raise him in a comfortable house with a comfortable family, give him a good education, and then as soon as he becomes an adult, abandon him because he's not good enough. So I don't particularly trust him, but it seems like in the long run, trusting him will earn us a fair bit of keep. So I'm willing to stick with him.
Oh, it sounds
I
like
And of
kind
course, I
look
don't
at
have
the
much
table,
choice,
and I'm like,
because
I'm
my
so
employer-
sorry.
it sounds
He's
like
projecting.
there's something to unpack there, Mr. Braithwaite, but we'll have to put a pin in that one. Ms. Murphy,
Did he take the objects when he left?
he did, yeah.
Fuck. Well, then he has no. I never trust a man in a white suit. Means he doesn't sweat,
That's
and I
true.
can't trust that kind of
Oh, he
biological
did look he
superiority.
looked a little pale and greasy to me.
He did.
What
Greasy boy.
I've mistaken sweat for grease before, and let me tell you, it's
Well,
not a
I'm
good
sorry
time.
that's happened to you. What about you, Mr. Doyle? You've been around. You've seen some things.
Look, there's a chance, but keep your eyes open. What got you into this?
Well, I'm gonna let you in on a bit of a secret. I hope you won't pass it. You hope you won't pass it on to Mr. Larkin or his sinister-looking friend. And I do mean sinister. There's something off about that guy. My name's not Jesse Hughes. It's Jackson Elias. I'm an author. I don't know if you've read anything that I might have written. If any of you have
Fiction or-
anthropology as a skill, you could roll that now to see if you are familiar with him.
Let's try this again.
I'm about to be familiar with him.
Ah,
I've no idea who you are.
nice again. Me and Apom,
You guys
nice.
are good at not knowing things. you make some good. He says, well, believe me, I don't have that big of an ego that it's hurt by knowing that people haven't read my books. But
It's not that I haven't read your books, it's that I haven't even heard of them.
well, that's fine. Would you like a copy? I can get you a copy.
No. I have no interest in anthropology or expanding my knowledge of the human culture.
I'm absolutely willing. I'm willing to buy a copy if you know.
You get it on the house. I wouldn't dream of making you pay for it.
I love to have free things, and I love to learn things. I'd love a coffee.
Mhm.
Books.
Yeah, books. Charles.
I
Yeah.
feel like I personally feel like Charles needs to go to bed.
Well, I mean, why don't we hit the hay after this? I've got a little bit more to say.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know how to put this in any better than I'm putting it, but I feel like this Larkin fella's leading us into danger.
Oh, I got that.
Like I don't believe in dark gods or monsters either, but there's something off about all this, and I've been researching this for a new book about these secret societies here in Peru, and I've been up around this area that he says this pyramid could be found, and how much do you guys know about death cults?
Well, in university, I knew a fair few.
Wow.
I got a bachelor's in death cults.
I
know.
Sorry.
No.
No, I know I've heard a little bit about cults, but I don't know the difference. Sorry.
No, by all means.
I don't know the difference between a death cult and just a regular cult.
Well, they're fixated on death. I've studied a few of them. The most recently were in India. Some they called themselves the Thuggee, and they basically make murder and death and mayhem a ritual, and there's evidence of a similar group operating up around this area we're heading to, and I've been doing my research on this Larkin fella, and there's not some. I mean, I've got some questions about him, and if you like, I wanted to talk about it with you guys because you all seem like you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing.
Murphy, would it be alright if I made a suggestion to the group?
I take a long moment, but I do say yes.
I have a pitch for us all here. Now, I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent, but
Am I
it'll all
included
tie
in this
together.
pitch, or-
Yes, you're definitely included. This doesn't leave this table of people.
Okay.
That's up to each person on the table.
It is, but wait until you hear the pitch. So in university, we had a cricket team, and there was one player who would always let us down. Every time. He either fumbled the ball or couldn't hit it right when he was on the bat. Whatever he was doing, he just always fumbled it. So one day, when I was pitching the ball, I decided to aim it at him, even though he was on my team. And I aimed for his kneecap, and I hit it full force, injuring him, putting him out for the season. Now, why I'm telling you this is because if this man decides to betray us or has some intention of putting us in harm's way, I say we collectively throw him to the proverbial wolves and we can figure our way back from there. If he tries to sabotage us, then we go against him, take any means what we can from him, and give him to the death cult as a sacrifice, and then get out of there if they happen to be there. That is my pitch.
Well, if you don't mind, I don't mind, leaving this guy in the lurch and taking what's ours and whatnot, but I mean, I don't think we need to make any deals with. I mean, if you want it, if the opportunity comes up, I'm all for it. I don't say
this is a definite.
Larkin, but I think we're best suited just making sure that we keep an eye on him, and
We could just nip it in the bud quickly and just kill him now.
Whoa! I'm not talking
Raymond,
about killing anybody. I'm not a murderer. I research and investigate death cults. I don't participate.
It's not part of a death cult. It's just getting rid of a problem.
But we don't know.
The problem who's the only one who knows where to go?
Yeah.
If we go to the library now, we can get what we need and just go.
How
There's
many
not
weeks
the
did he study?
math and stuff, though.
I'm all for if you guys can get a decent, like you look like clever folks. I'm a bit of a clever folk myself. If you think we can get a lead on this pyramid without him, I mean, I'm not gonna say no. But I'm just gonna tell you, I get the feeling from him and his nasty looking pal that they're not gonna like the idea that we've taken their idea.
Inkray said your audio is quiet.
Is it? Oh, pardon me.
It should also be noted that this guy is essentially funding the exhibition, and until we get there, like, I don't think we should necessarily get rid of him. It's also incredibly unfortunate that he's destroyed most of his research, and until we can sort of supplant that with our own, then there's no point in killing him now, because we'd just be losing one of our biggest resources.
Is
Clearly,
it unfortunate or was it on purpose?
Well, considering that
definitely
someone
on
who's met him,
purpose.
yeah, I don't know how unwise it was if the conversation's already gone this way.
I mean,
I
I wasn't
just like
really
to-
expecting you to want to kill him. I was more just saying we keep an eye on him.
Definitely
Like-
took a turn.
Like, I have it on fairly good authority that he's been up to the lake, so he's not constantly just lurking around down here in Lima. But and he tried to get some locals together to find the pyramid, but none of them would go with him, which sort of speaks to your question about why the farmer that sold him the information hadn't gone. None of he's tried. The locals won't go. Not to mention, there's another fellow. Pardon?
We don't have to like let him into our beds at this point. We just have to go with him until, of course, we can have this conversation again. But we've barely even started, and he's the one that's going to get us going.
Well,
Well, that's fine. I'm just going to make sure that my gun is on hand at all point.
Well, speaking of letting him into your beds, he's not even staying at the same hotel as you. He's staying at another one. The Hotel España. He mentioned it before you got here. And
I also get that a lot.
I was talking to a fellow that works at the university, a Professor Sanchez, and he's known about this expedition since Larkin started looking for funding, and he's been trying to get on it. He's an expert in this whole area, but Larkin ignores him, everything that he said, and which is kind of a shame, because from what I've heard, Sanchez has some stuff related to that, like some research and evidence that could inform the expedition. I'm gonna go see him tomorrow, and like you said, you wanted to go to the university. I think he might be a good first stop.
Yeah, I'd like to have this guy on the team, but also I'd like to see this other hotel to see what the difference is and why he's making us change. Like, why
I
he's...
imagine the difference would be that we're not there.
Well, he told me there weren't any more rooms available.
I don't-
say that.
I don't believe that. I want to investigate this.
All right. Well, I'm happy to help you with that as much as I can help. I'm not really an intimidating sort. I usually just kind of sneak around and get my information by keeping my ear to the ground. But
Don't worry, I've got this.
I just want you to be careful of that Mendoza guy. The people in Puno called him a Karasiri, which is like it's like a local folklore thing, like a monster that sucks fat and blood and water from people. I mean,
That's cool.
It's not real, but obviously they're scared
Sounds
of
like
him.
my father.
Yeah, well, exactly. But they're like people like that. They're scary for a reason. Like they don't get reputations as fat sucking vampires without being intimidating. So I don't know if he's carrying a gun or if he's got a solid right hook on him. But I would caution you against getting on the guy's bad side.
He's not the only one carrying a gun.
Well, I know, but
Everyone's carrying a
yeah,
gun.
you can all
Exactly.
be carrying a gun, but
I've not been allowed to carry a gun.
when the guns start going off, you don't want to get any.
For the best.
Look, I'm gonna come out and say it. I think they're both involved with this cult. Like, I think that
Okay.
that's something to do with it. I don't
That's
know
fine.
how. I don't know if he's just sort of trying to get involved, like he's just heard about it and he wants to be part of it, or if he's in charge, or if he's just a member, or what. But I think they're part of it. I've seen this sort of behavior before. And
Okay.
What?
I'll take your word for it.
Over in India?
India, in Africa, in the Amazon,
Mm.
I've seen it all.
Ah.
There's a lot more of these things than you'd think. A lot of people that just, all like to swear that they're part of some dark and mysterious force. I know there's some other members of this cult too. But I haven't met them. I just know of them. I know that Larkin and De Mendoza have met with them, but I couldn't tell you how big it is. I would wager in the dozens, but I couldn't tell you.
Well. Yeah, I'm good for the night.
Cool.
Anyone else want to commit larceny or murder before we...
Can I commit all? All the above?
Not at this stage.
I'm not one who could stop you.
Well, obviously, Mr. Genovese, none of us are interested in getting on your bad side, but I would encourage discretion, because I think we can get a lot more out of this if we take it slow.
Oh, I'm very good at discretion. Don't worry about me.
I'm sure you are. And so at that point, Jesse kind of stands up and says, claps his hands, says, well, I'm going to hit the hay. Do you want me to take Charlie home? He seems like he's worse for wear.
Yes.
Sure, it's not my problem.
Another round.
Who?
He wants... Mr. Johnson. You want another round?
Oh yeah, we didn't introduce ourselves. Hi Charles, I'm Cornelius.
Nelius.
Well, I mean,
I didn't even know that. I
thought
imagined that Charles might have just been sitting next to me, and I've just totally not even like.
You just noticed him now. Sorry, what's that tea?
I just think that we need to get Charles to bed before he causes some problems in our discretion.
Oh, you want? I can.
No,
take care of
no,
that.
I'm happy drunk.
Hey, Charlie, I've got a bottle of Maker's Mark back at my
Yes.
hotel. You want to have a nightcap?
Yes.
Okay, and he sort of gets up and he like ushers Charlie out of the bar, and you four are left around the table.
Also stand up, and kind of make a move, expecting Cornelius to also up and
You tug on his leash.
yeah. I do like a
As Murphy does that, I look down and see if there's any undrunk drinks, and I notice that there's a glass of whiskey. So as we're leaving, I just
it's like
put it back, just as we're turning away.
I call Cornelius over for a second
I walk
before
over
he
to
leaves, and I order a bottle of whiskey for him and hand it to him.
Thank you, Miss Genovese. It's much appreciated. I take the
okay.
bottle and I just sort of put it behind my back. So I've got that classic sort of butler stance with my hands behind my back as I follow Murphy out. But it's because I got a big ass bottle of alcohol behind my spine.
I also have been writing a letter underneath the table the whole time about what's been going on, and I fold it up and hand it to the bar and ask them to post it. And it's to my partner.
Like as a telegram. Memo?
Yes, please.
Like take the
And
money.
also, I quickly turn to Murphy and say, I've written down in my journal everything that was said tonight. I'm going to keep logging everything as we go up our trail to find the pyramid. And once we get there, what we can do is we don't necessarily have to go in. We can follow the others in and let them do all the heavy work. And if anything bad happens, we can escape and then sell this information for how people can get in there and make a profit either way. Just thought I should let you know that.
Kind of like that idea.
So what do you got?
I make no mention of the bottle, by the way. I'm probably like looking at eye height, and I will not be looking it down.
So what are we doing now? What is the
Sleeping.
group?
Off to bed.
Off to bed.
Off to bed, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doyle will stand and give a respectful nod, and yeah, head back to the.
So when you head to
Hotel.
the hotel, which is sort of right in the center of the city, as you go, you walk past the Catedral de Lima, this big sort of Gothic-looking cathedral.
I'm still very suspicious of why we are going to a different hotel.
Well, this hotel, you'll be happy to know, is the finest one in Lima. It's the nicest hotel here. And as you sort of head into the lobby, off to the side is a banquet room that's kind of being converted for use as a bar. And at the bar are Charlie and Jackson drinking Pisco Sours, which is a cocktail created by the American bartender Victor Vaughan Morris. Little factoid for you. So, and Jackson and Charles are kind of drinking and singing some bawdy university songs that they've both picked up as you kind of walk past and head up the stairs to your rooms, which are very well appointed. Nothing like the extravagance you might find in New York or London, but very nice for where they are. And yeah, so it's late evening. You're in your hotel rooms. Do you sleep and wait for the next day?
I take a big swig of my whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
And take about one
You've
third
actually
of
been
it out.
afforded an extra room. Well, actually, no.
Excellent.
That's actually a question we have to ask.
Yeah.
Murphy, you brought Cornelius along, sort of unbeknownst to Larkin, so he didn't book a room for Cornelius. What were you? There's rooms available if you'd like to get him one.
Yeah, he snores.
Okay.
Either that or he's sleeping at the end of the bed, like the fainting couch.
If there's a moment of the two of you out the front of your room, like clearly having this discussion, Raymond would not motion to the kid. If you want, there's plenty of room.
Your room?
I sleep light.
So hang on. Has Murphy booked another room, or am I going to go with Doyle? What's?
Oh, it's up
Do you
to
have the
Murphy.
opportunity? I book you the room, but then when I hear Raymond make the gesture, I'm like, sure, leave it empty, and I'm like, shut the door.
Raymond just shakes his head and goes in, figuring that you're going to use the empty room. Like I'm like a complete madman.
Yes, Cornelius goes into the empty room.
Secretly, Cornelius wanted to sleep in Raymond's room. But before he got a chance.
Cornelius goes into the empty room and just collapses on the floor because he's exhausted because it's a long travel. He's not used to this kind of physical exertion. Because quietly, the anecdote he told before about the man who got thrown out of the cricket team for being incompetent, who got injured by having a ball thrown at his knee, so he was out for the season. That was him.
Yeah.
He was that
I
man.
figured.
Yeah, that
good.
was assumed.
Totally
So
fooled.
you all head to bed. Charles, you head to bed a little later than everyone else. After Jackson kind of politely but forcibly makes you go upstairs and go to bed.
In hell. Yes, Rich, you got it.
Oh no. We finally uncovered the truth.
Hooray!
That Laxum's character is meant to be Carly Rae Jepsen's great
Finally, 1 hour into the campaign.
So, the next morning, you hear one of you hears a knock at the door. Murphy, you hear a sort of polite knock at your door in the morning at a reasonable hour. Not very late, but enough for you to have gotten some sleep, especially with your critical constitution success. You wake up without a hangover at all. You wake up feeling actually
Raised
better.
from the bed, bending from the waist, just like...
You're like a vampire, just on your feet, just raise up like...
Exactly like that.
And it's Jackson, and he is at the door, and he says, "So, did you want to get down to the museum and meet Professor Sanchez?"
I'd simply love to. Let me just put on some clothes and collect my boy. Could you give
Well, I
me
mean,
10
it's
minutes?
not until... I mean, I was going to head down there around 2:00. I was just sort of letting...
Oh, well then why did you knock on my door now?
Well, I wanted to make sure you were here, like if you don't go out for a sightseeing tour or whatever.
And now you know. Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
and he closed the door, and he sort of knocks on Mrs. Geneviese's door next.
I'm up. I'm already dressed. I got
Yeah.
makeup on. I'm already done. And I open the door. I'm like, yes.
I'm just letting you know we're heading down to the university at 2:00.
Okay, thank you. I shut the door.
And he does that. He does that for Raymond and for Cornelius as well. He leaves. He sort of stands in front of Charles's door for a second and kind of in the end just doesn't knock. It's just sort of like.
What a kindly person.
So yeah, you guys can choose how you spend your morning and early afternoon. You've got today and tomorrow here before you leave on Monday morning. So if you want to, you could do shopping. You could hang around. You could get breakfast at one of the cafes or restaurants.
Well, I start off with breakfast.
Yep.
But then I go and check out if anyone would like to join me. I'm going to check out the other hotel because I am very sus.
Okay.
Happy.
Jackson sort of. When do you mention this to Jackson or do you wait till he's?
I mention it to everyone,
Yeah.
like Jackson
Okay.
and the group.
So Jackson he sort of weighs it up and is like, look, if you guys want to go check it out, I'm happy to go with you. Can't hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to come with me, I'm going. So, yeah, I walk to the hotel.
So is everyone going?
I was not going to. I was actually going to get Cornelius to bring me some breakfast, and then I would spend the morning reading and researching with the books that I've brought along. But
Okay.
I'm more than happy for you guys to check the hotel.
I'll stay with Murphy because
Okay.
Murphy is going to ask me to get them coffee or whatever else
Okay.
they may need after
Lord
their
knows I'm
breakfast.
not waking up.
Okay, well, I'll go by myself.
Okay.
I'm happy to keep an extra. Do you want an extra eye out? Raymond would
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, if you want to come.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So
Cornelius,
I'll be back in a second, everyone,
Okay,
in
so-
real life.
Yeah.
Cornelius and Murphy stay behind.
Yeah, and Charles as well.
Yeah, Charles stays behind as well to sleep off his hangover, I'm assuming. And Raymond and Lottie, you head down to the Hotel España. What you notice first about it is that it's a much smaller hotel than the one you're in, and it's about 2 stories tall. It's in the same neighborhood district as you're in, but it's on the corner of a street full of shops, and there doesn't appear to be a reception desk of any kind as you step inside. It's just a small old woman in a woolen shawl, and she kind of sits there on a chair. And when you sort of step in, she greets you in Spanish.
Oh, shit.
It's not looking good.
No. Hi, ma'am. Do you speak English?
And she thinks about it for a moment, and she sort of politely shakes her head and puts up her hands like, "No, I don't."
Oh, I just wanted to ask you questions about your beautiful establishment, and
And she kind of like she smiles and nods at you, but she's not understanding what you're saying.
Does
I don't
Jesse
know.
know Spanish?
Yes. So Jesse actually steps past you and sort of like he sort of says, "I got this," and he kind of speaks with her for a little bit. And he just says that he asks her if she has any. He sort of speaks to her, has like a bit of a conversation with her for a while, and then he sort of turns back to you guys and goes, "So they've got rooms, enough rooms for all of us.
Yeah.
The only two rooms that are taken are by what I'm assuming is Mr. Larkin and Mr. De Mendoza. So
interesting.
telling me that the rooms were booked already is a big fat lie.
Did you want to grab a room? I can listen out overnight.
I mean, do you want if that's what you want?
Us and Lottie.
Oh,
I'll pay for it if that's what you want to do. I don't mind.
I could do
Following your lead here. But I'm happy to keep an ear out.
And the
Yeah.
And the woman sort of nods her head politely, and she sort of moves over to like a drawer, and she opens it with a key and pulls out a key with a little, basically the room directly next to one of the occupied rooms, which is sort of what Jackson requests for you. Although he doesn't know whose room it is. He just knows that it's one of the occupied rooms, and the other one's on the other one's directly below it. And he passes the key over to you, and he says, I'd I'd make sure not to get seen coming or going, because I don't like I said, that De Mendoza character sounds like a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I pay for it, like full upfront.
Yeah.
I'll wait till the evening before I come use it,
Yep.
and I'll head out before first light.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so we'll leave silently and away so that we can get
Gracias.
She kind of like
grass.
she smiles and nods.
So we'll leave and go and try and meet everyone up by 2.
Cool. So as 2:00 kind of rolls around, Charles, you finally awaken from your coma. You've gotten a lot out of your books, Murphy. They're not particular. It's nothing particularly related to the place, but some interesting knowledge that you didn't have before, facts you didn't know. Cornelius, I guess it was.
I'm just standing by the table.
It was a nice stand, and Jackson kind of heads on back and informs you all of like the plan, so to speak. Like he kind of like gestures to Lottie and Raymond to kind of, but he just sort of points out that there is a plan, but then he gestures to them to kind of relay it to you. And once that's done, he says, "Oh well, I know the way to the university. We going?
Yeah.
Great. So when you sort of head down, it's a bit of a walk through but nothing really is more than 10 minutes walk away. So he sort of opts not to take the electric trams, and instead you just walk. Charles, the sun is like the eye of Satan staring down on you. You're having an
If you
unpleasant
could
morning.
take 4 damage for me, that would be great.
No, he's not taking any damage, but he's definitely suffering. So he leads you into the museum, which looks like the university itself appears very old, but the museum was only recently opened, like a couple of years ago. It's a long 2-story stone building that's painted dark yellow, and there's a large park out the front. And he sort of heads into the reception, and he speaks briefly with the receptionist, and is shown to your group is shown to a office on the ground floor, which is and it's very nice. It's very airy. It's got a high ceiling, and the walls are full with books and artifacts. And there's the desk is like hard. Like, this is a professor that's well regarded, you would imagine, just by the layout of his office. And there's the windows wide open, letting a nice breeze in. He sort of looks up, and because Jackson enters the room first, and he sort of speaks in English. He's like, Jackson, and they're like, as he sort of sees you all coming in, and he's like, it's a pleasure to meet you. He switches from Spanish because he greets Jackson in Spanish, but when he sees you all, he starts speaking English, and Jackson kind of nods in agreement. It's like, how can I help you?
We're currently
You go.
Hey, sorry, did I interrupt someone?
No, you go.
We're currently on a I guess you would call it a mismanaged, complicated mission for Pyramid.
Larkin's expedition.
Yeah.
So you notice that Professor Sanchez's English it's passable. Like, it's kind of like you can understand him, but it's a very thick accent there, which I'm not going to do. And he sort of says, he goes, I've offered multiple times to go with him, but he's either ignored me or just told me outright that he doesn't need my assistance. And my guess, if I wouldn't want to besmirch the man, but I feel it's justified. Larkin just wants to loot the site. The government has no restrictions in place, or no laws that keep people from taking things from these ruins and just shipping them off to other countries. And they're grave, and he says Hueros, and Jackson kind of leans over and murmurs to you, grave robbers explains what it means. And he says, I need to get there first.
So
And
what you're saying is that these have cultural significance for you.
Yes, these are treasures that predate European occupation and exploration. They're priceless.
I understand.
I was under the impression that Larkin did his own research of the site when he went there last. Do you know Larkin to be a scholarly man, or is he just saying that because he
seems to have knowledge of certain things, but I wouldn't call him a scholar. I mean, he keeps it very well hidden. He seems more of a drunk and a layabout to me.
I stare at Charles at that point.
Charles just nodding in the corner. Well, one of my students, if I can help, I can help. I have a plan.
If it's cricket, I don't want to hear it.
We've heard a lot of cricket metaphors. It's been a time.
Cricket?
It's a European ball sport. You don't want to know.
Subpar baseball.
It'll get to you eventually, but you won't want it.
Oh, I understand. Okay. Well, one of my students found this in our archives, actually. It's a document written by Gaspar Figueroa. I don't expect you to be familiar with the name, but he was a conquistador, one of the early Spanish explorers in the mid 16th century. We haven't been able to translate it perfectly, but Trinidad has been working on. Trinidad is my student, has been working on that. And in fact, she should be along any moment now. She's just gone off to bring the document.
Interesting.
I just quietly nudge Murphy's arm and pull out a little note that I've just been writing in my book, which simply reads, "Getting there before Larkin equals," and then I've just drawn $, $, and I just show that to Murphy, and then just put the book away and make sure that no one else sees it.
Okay. I nod and I'm like, but it is a very good. It's a well written note. Yes. I'd love to see my Spanish isn't fantastic myself, so if there is a translation at all, I'd be thrilled to have a squiz at it.
Well, she's translating it into modern Spanish, but and Jackson kind of nudges you as well. He doesn't pass a note, but he just sort of says, "Don't worry."
He passes me a note that says, "I know Spanish."
Yeah, he's like, I can read as well as speak, so don't worry about it.
Just getting so many notes.
I also passed Murphy a note saying, "What's the note say?"
And Professor Sanchez is like, "Well, you seem so fond of notes."
I tuck them into my dress. And like,
New American
yes.
fashion.
Did you call me a fashion?
No, fashion.
Oh yes. I didn't introduce myself. My name is S.M. Murphy. I'm a scholar of the American kind, actually, so I'm very excited to glean as much as I can
A
from
fellow
the
scholar.
library.
I'm very pleased to meet you.
Yes. Is there anything you could recommend if we're obviously our focus is the pyramid at the moment, but I hear you're sort of the voice of authority on it. Apart from the translated Spanish book, is there anything else you could recommend reading?
Well, I have my research that I've compiled, which you sort of find all around you here. Mr. Elias's own research, he, I'm sure, would share with you, and Jackson kind of nods his head. And he said, basically anything. Like, this has been a focus of mine since Mr. Larkin arrived, and it's very important to me that I reach the site before him.
Is your research also in Spanish? I'm sorry.
I'm afraid so, but I can aid in some rudimentary translation. Are you eating the note?
Sorry, that wasn't in character. That was just a bit.
You did it on camera. I'm kicking in character. And then after a moment, he kind of looks at his. He's got like a pocket watch, and he picks it out to look at it and goes, "I don't know. I don't know what's taking her so long."
While you scholarly taps are discussing, should our
If you wouldn't mind, Mr.
Doyle, Raymond Doyle.
If you wouldn't mind, Senor Doyle, if you could please just head down. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you where I'll show you where it is. And he goes, if you just take a left and then a right down the stairs, and you should be in the storeroom, and that's where she's fetching it from.
All right.
And he sort of sends you on your way there, and he kind of looks at the others if anyone else sort of wants to go with you, but he's not really expected.
Raymond's
I'm
happy
already
to.
at the shelves, just kind of hands behind. So I'm like, yep, okay, yep.
What's Charles doing?
Dying of a hangover.
Yeah.
We've already lost Charles.
His camera's frozen. He just looks like he's having an existential crisis.
Oh no. So it does. He's just really regretting last night.
It's his own fault.
Yeah, basically.
That's amazing.
Would turning my camera off and turning it back on muck everything up?
No,
It's not
should be fine.
happening. It's not happening on. It's not happening on the camera. It's happening on your
Your Discord.
on your thing.
On your Discord.
Well, yeah, that's why I was going to turn my
Yeah,
camera
yeah,
off and
turn it
on
off
again. See
and
if
on. I think that should work. Sorry about that, everybody. Are we? Yes, I think
There
we're
we
back.
go.
We're back.
I've
in
turned
order.
into Charles. Oh, I'm no
There we
longer
go.
Charles.
Oh, you swapped spots. No, you haven't. You're there.
We're back. We're back now.
Okay, so Charles, what do you? So you're just sort of having your existential crisis and regretting last night?
Mm.
Okay, so you don't leave the office. I'm assuming Cornelius is never more than 2 feet away from Murphy,
Yeah.
and Lottie is gonna go. Are you gonna go with?
Happy to go
Yeah.
with Raymond. Raymond has been nothing but helpful to me, so I'm happy to.
So you head
Raymond.
you head down there with Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond.
Before we get into the action, should we take a 5-minute break? I have to.
Yes. Let's take a break. We don't know there's going to be action, but let's take a break.
Oh well.
I love that Super Mario is just like, yeah, there's action.
Well, it's going to be either things that are interesting or me reading books. So it's like, no.
All right.
And you are right. This is very much
I'm probably gonna.
accidental or otherwise.
I'm probably gonna
based
see.
off
A, I'm probably gonna see a dead
I love
body
it.
and run away again.
Yeah, the sketching and everything. Aziz.
I've legitimately been taking notes, so my scattered brain keeps track of where we're going.
Oh, give me both.
We'll be back very shortly, everybody. We're just going to go on a little break.
I'm fucking hot.
Eating the notes. Beans the fascist.
We are back.
We are back. Kind of.
Hello, everybody. How
Oh,
are
excuse
you?
me, I burped. Everyone.
That's okay. No one heard it. You just only know because you announced it to everyone.
Yeah, you announced it, so that's a you issue.
All right. All our windows are correct, which is nice. Sorry about the pause. Chimp ears fell
Chimp
off.
fucked it. It's Chimp's fault.
Had to restart my computer, but we're back.
The continuity is broken. Well, a day has passed, and Charles Cornelius has put on a hat.
I stole it from one of the students at the uni.
Just they were studying at the library, and you were like, yoink.
So
Apom but Hatter.
what about fascist? Chimp's cat is a fascist.
Yeah, we can't get her to stop, but she's always.
Thankfully, has only a small voting block behind it.
You know how it is with cats sometimes.
Hmm.
I'm so confused.
So,
Okay, so when we oh Apom when
So
we
sorry.
when we left Raymond and Lottie were
Raymond!
Raymond. I wouldn't do the Spanish accents, but I'll fucking bang out a
It's
Jamaican
Jamaican.
accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Multifaceted.
So
Some racism's okay.
Raymond and Lottie have headed down to the storage room, and as you're sort of walking down the hallway, you find the door leading into the storage room, and it's just off to the side underneath pretty much directly underneath the professor's office, and you open the door. I'm assuming you open the door.
yes.
You find that it's like it's sort of eerily quiet, like because you'd think you're going down there to find someone who's searching for stuff. You'd think there'd be noises associated with that, but there's nothing. And so as you sort of press on inside.
What was their name?
Raymundo?
Trinidad Rizzo. Trinidad Rizzo.
Yeah, we'd call out.
Yeah,
Trinidad. Trinidad?
You hear nothing, but you can sort of see that in like the rear corner of the storage room, there's been a disturbance of some kind. Like some things have been pulled down from shelves, and
There's a disturbance in the
a
force.
table has been pulled. A table has been pulled over. A table has been pulled over, and you see as you sort of round the corner, you see an emaciated, almost mummified thing. Sort of, it looks like it might have been a young woman, but like the shirt she's wearing is ripped, and there's a large disc of torn, bloody flesh on her upper chest. Her shriveled face is frozen in a mask of terror, and her eyes are still wide and staring. And I'll get from the pair of you.
Oh,
My
that was
favorite.
probably ahead, but feel free either way.
Yeah, pardon. Oh well, if Raymond's in front,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Raymond's in front and hasn't spotted the, and Lottie's still sort of taking like leisurely strolling up the rear. Can I get from you, Raymond, a sanity check?
I assume I just click on sanity.
Yes, I think that would work.
Well, technically the roll showed up. Whether it worked or not was a different question.
Yeah.
Whether it was a success or not.
Okay, so you now take a. Actually, sorry everybody, this is gonna happen. Hopefully, rarely when I need to pause to look at rules because the sanity rules are a little finicky.
There are.
So basically, Call of Cthulhu has sanity, and when you see horrible things, you actually Raymond, no, Raymond.
Raymond!
Raymond, no, stop
You
it!
have experience in the Great War. You are not
Yeah.
affected by the sight of corpses.
What about mummified corpses, though?
I mean, all kinds of corpses.
mean,
Seen them blown up, seen them burnt up, seen them shot up.
The chemical warfare in World War One was pretty bad.
So you
I
see
was
that.
just curious.
Yeah, no, fair.
And likewise, actually, Lottie, you wouldn't have that issue either, but that doesn't matter because you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, but I want to see it.
Yeah.
Raymond would, seeing that, turn around and, keeping in mind it is the 20s, would try to... No, ma'am, you don't want to go forward.
What are you talking about? I can.
I have forgotten.
She's dead.
That's okay. But what do you mean she's dead? And I just push past him and I look. I go, that's strange, isn't it?
Looking at Lottie, yeah, it is.
How did she mummify so quickly?
Raymond's like, I don't know.
Like, just this, he's been fairly just sort of just growling, like glaring all the time. That just a blank kind of, huh?
I don't know. So lying next to her body is a wooden crate which looks like it's been smashed to pieces. And like the way, like you'd think that maybe it just fell and smashed on the floor, but it looks like it's actually been torn open. Inside, yeah, or from the I would imagine from the outside. The remains of the crate are packed with straw and poking out from inside. It looks like a long piece of gold that's been forged into like a line that's broken at one end, like twisted and broken at one end, or both ends, but you can only see the top end. Can I get a spot hidden check from the both of you?
Yep. Dice tell the story.
Yeah, Raymond. So you see, you don't notice this, Lottie, but Raymond, you see that the golden, like the stick, basically a stick is what it looks like. But it looks like it has burnt skin kind of like stuck to it. Like the sides of it are, like something's grabbed it, been burnt by it, and left skin behind.
Knock you in my head with my stick.
Ma'am, I wouldn't touch that. I think she did before. Mummified? Like the mum. Is that what you... Like in Egypt style?
Yeah. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Sure, ma'am.
You also see, kind of in her jacket pocket, a notebook.
Lean down.
Yeah.
Or fucking notes.
Take it out. Take it out and have a flick through, but not see much, and hand it to the one who actually probably reads stuff.
It's all in Spanish, but it seems to include some, like, it looks, just from reading the way that it's laid out, like it's notes, and you'd assume, based on what the professor told you, that this is her translation of the document you found.
Maybe we keep this to ourselves till we see what Jackson can translate it for us once we leave, or?
Yeah, we should definitely check with Jackson.
Hands it over to you.
Yeah.
Might recommend, you took that pretty well. Maybe just like act a little distraught when we get out there. Yeah. But can I have a look around to see if there's any like signs of other people like doing this and hurting and leaving, like if this was caused by someone.
So you're looking around downstairs, and you don't really find anything. You find like there's like a slight signs of disturbance, but there's nothing really to suggest that there was, like, whatever it was seemed to have come up on Rizzo pretty suddenly and not really left them any chance to struggle or get away. So yeah, you're and up in the you sort of find that you can sort of still see this length of gold. And it's not like a small amount. It's about 2 feet long, about 60 centimeters, 3 inches wide, and about a centimeter deep. Like it looks like it's been ripped out of its housing, and you'd say it probably looks like it weighs around 11 kilos, but you couldn't tell without touching it. So it's largely a straight band, although 4 sections jut out at right angles into short spurs or squared off spirals. And on the surface, you can see a series of non-repeating geometric shapes, which like mostly squares and rectangles, but don't have any obvious meaning. And they don't look like any sort of writing that either of you would be familiar with.
Is there any paper about? Just loose leaf paper?
Yeah, there's
Not
some.
in the library, no.
It's all
Yeah.
There's some, and there's also the straw that it's kind of half buried in.
Well, going to grab some of the paper and with the goal of bringing this thing up and just saying, "Hey, what's this?"
So as
What?
you
Why don't you just trace it rather than carry it?
Sounds like it'll take longer, and
Or do you
I don't know
mind-
much what stick figures will do.
So as you sort of step towards the door, you hear like a startled you sort of hear a noise from outside, sort of outside, like some yelling and some screaming in Spanish, and like a lot of complaints. And Jackson, like, so in the office, Jackson sort of looks at you, looks at Cornelius and Murphy and Charles, and says, "There's a fire." And he kind of looks out the window, and then he sort of heads out into the hallway and starts taking off down the corridor. It's like, and he kind of gestures for you guys to come with him.
Shit. I take some of the books from the shelf and put them in my bag and I gesture for Cornelius to do the same. As many as he can fucking carry.
I just grab an armful of books and I put a couple books in a satchel that I might have and just as much as I can carry, and I'm probably dropping some as I run. Yeah.
I just let out
we-
a loud groan as I start making my way out.
Just like fuego, fuego. You hear lots of yelling of fire.
Can we hear it from where we are?
Yeah, you can hear it too, but Raymond, you might recognise the word for fire because you've been in Spain.
Yeah.
Oh, in South America, so you might recognise, and you would hear that maybe you wouldn't necessarily know what they're yelling about, but you know that there's something's amiss. And
In that case, probably take off the jacket and wrap it around the thing.
Yeah. So you wrap the little golden stick in your jacket. Do you take off out of the?
Unless Lottie says otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I like hurry and I grab the gun out of my like leg holster and just fucking bolt.
So as you head out into the courtyard, there's like you can see like in the reception area, there's like smoke billowing out. Before one of the male students sort of walks out, and he starts explaining to like the gathered people what's going on, and Jackson kind of like listens for a moment and says, "Sounds like someone set a fire in a waste paper basket."
Always doing that. Shit.
Yep. Well, let us know when we're back, actually.
Yeah. So you guys sort of arrive at the same time. Yeah, as Jackson's explaining this, so you all hear it.
Bit worse than that.
What do you mean?
What was the word you used? Mummified.
Mummified?
Trinidad. Dead.
Mummified.
Yeah, she's been mummified. Also, that waste basket fire sounds like it's a distraction.
A distraction from what?
That
Well, I
she's
mean, the
mummified.
mummification.
Yeah.
But I mean, you already found her.
Yeah, but
He was
Look,
holding
it's
on
like-
to
Something else in there
something.
we were supposed to look at.
Look, I'm gonna go.
Let's-
I'm gonna go check on the professor. I don't like this at all.
yeah, no.
And he heads off. He starts running off down the hallway, back into the building, even though the smoke's still sort of billowing out.
Can we go with him to make sure he doesn't die too?
Yeah, you can all go with him.
Yeah,
Sure.
And he.
I
Kind
run beside him.
Yeah, I would say that Raymond kind of. Are you going with him? You kind of reach the door first. Jackson kind of falls in with the group of you. So are you all going inside? I just want to make sure before I continue.
I am.
I only go if Murphy goes.
Does Murphy go?
I hear mummification and I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So
And I'm assuming Charles follows along because he doesn't want to be outside in the sun.
To Murphy, if there's any hesitation, would have sort of shown like part of the jacket.
And the
This is
gold.
probably what they were looking after,
Ooh, matches
looking
gold.
for, and then heading off.
And inside, Raymond, as you sort of throw open the door, you find the professor lying on the floor, sort of clutching his stomach, and like appearing in like the worst kind of agony. Like he's rolling. He's like this. His office is a mess, and it's more of a mess than even when Murphy and Cornelius ransacked it before they fled. So he's kind of like he's rolling on the floor, and he's sort of like. He's sort of screaming, but he's not making any words. That like he's in Spanish and stuff, but even the Spanish is like indecipherable. And then he kind of grabs, and you can see when you get close enough to him, and Jackson kind of kneels beside him. You can see like a waxy substance around his mouth, like candle wax almost, or like fat with like the smell of like rancid fat. Kind of
But I
smeared around his mouth.
try and roll on like first aid just to like give him a moment to try and catch his breath so he can try and form some kind of sentence. Just like even if it's just going up and holding his hand tightly or something, just to.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely like you're not really. I mean, give me a first aid. Check.
I'm low in first aid, but I thought I should
Yeah.
roll in it anyway, just
Yeah.
to. I've
kiss him
lost
on the
it.
lips and get that KFC grease off of it.
Well, he sort of mutters something to Jackson, and Jackson says, sort of looks at you and says, he's saying he kissed me, and then like, as you and as he says that, Cornelius, you look down at the professor and you can see like a visible lump in his abdomen that is like roiling beneath the skin, like it's moving of its own accord, like something is inside of him.
Yeah,
Feel like we need to cut that out.
I agree. I was just thinking the same thing. Does anyone have any like scalpel or knife on them?
Yes.
I reckon Raymond probably carries a fairly large knife.
And also, the other thing I was thinking was if anyone had matches, or like even if there's like a lantern or something, or with some wax or something. Because what Cornelius is going to try and do is cut out whatever this is and then cauterize it with like hot wax and burn it shut.
Hot wax, no.
I feel like everyone would have matches because I'm
Jackson's
pretty sure
like-
we'd all smoke.
Everyone
Jackson
smokes,
kind of
yeah.
looks at you and he's like, is any of you a doctor? Are you sure you can just start slicing the guy open?
What, do you want him to die?
Obviously,
like
I
he's
don't
in
want
pain.
him to die, but I also, I mean, are you sure you're not going to kill him by cutting his guts open?
We do nothing, he dies. We try, he might live, but he might die. What do you want?
Several medical journals.
We could, like, we're in the middle of a major city. We could find a doctor.
How much time?
I mean, who knows? I don't know.
You find a
what if
doctor, we do this.
Make him throw up or something.
I don't think that a live thing in his belly is going to like being thrown up.
Well, I mean,
Me and Macquarie
Kate,
Prince is going to appreciate that.
are we gonna cater to the thing? Just make him throw it. And he's like, oh, God, do something.
We are trying to do something.
I take the knife that Raymond offered before, and I grab the professor's hand and say, "What's your favorite color?"
And all he can do is groan.
And as he's groaning, before he can even get halfway through the groan, I slice exactly where the thing is on his abdomen, just to create a big laceration, and I reach in, try and grab whatever under his skin, and...
You need to give me a medicine check here, April.
I'm also helping.
And I know medicine is not your thing.
Medical malpractice thing.
You probably have like a 2 in it.
Medicine. Where is it? Medicine.
I have a 1.
But keep in mind, you can spend luck points to increase this roll.
How do I spend luck points?
Well, you've got 80 luck. Oh, no, you don't have 80 luck. How much luck do you have? It's on your sheet. Basically, you can spend those points to just increase the...
50.
To decrease the result as far as you need it to go.
So do I just click luck and then click...
No, I think you just make your medicine check and then we'll decide afterwards.
Okay. Medicine. Ooh.
Okay. So, you made... Did you roll a 1?
He rolled an 18.
Okay, so you've got to spend 17 points to get the success that you need. No, it's not a roll, it's just spending the points. So your luck would decrease. Your luck would decrease down to 62. Is that right?
Yes. No, I've got... My luck is 50.
Okay, so reduce your luck by those 18 points.
Okay,
and for this is just going to be a regular success, even though it's a critical success territory.
In the top right corner, edit mode.
Yeah.
Critical success.
I'm now on 36. I'm now on 36 luck points, I think.
But
if I've done my math correct.
By a sheer stroke of luck, you're not a surgeon, but you cut open the spot that you need to, and you find within a it looks like a maggot at first. But when you sort of get a closer look at it, it doesn't have, like, features or, like, the things you would expect from a maggot. It's just like it's a lump of rancid fat in, like, a living lump of rancid fat, like, wriggling and squirming inside of him. And you sort of just reach in with your bare hand and pull it out, fling it to the floor, and your attempt, you burn a match to burn to cauterize the wound.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your attempt? Okay, well, I'm going to keep this in the same medicine roll. You do that. He's unconscious from the sudden pain that you've inflicted upon him. And he's also suffering the kind of wound that if a doctor doesn't look at it relatively soon is probably going to kill him. Because you're not a doctor and you just performed impromptu surgery. Jackson's staring at you with a look of horror. As you, but like the little goblin globule of fat is
boot down.
Yeah, you squish it flat, and it just turns into like a smear on the ground. And Jackson's like, "We got to get him to a hospital."
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Let's go. Let's get him to the nearest hospital.
So yeah,
we've given him time, so let's go.
Yeah, so you rush him, like you basically get him outside. You've got in your possession the golden stick that Raymond found, and Lottie's carrying the journal. You've Cornelius and Murphy have books that they've taken from the professor's library, and like
there was a fire.
Yeah, and you sort of as you get outside. Like, one of the students sees you're carrying the professor amongst you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I figure Lottie's probably got the jacket and Raymond and trying to get some help from Cornelius too.
Yeah. I assist them.
So, like, yeah, you kind of carry him out, and one of the, sort of seeing him all bloodied like that, sort of, they start yelling at you in Spanish. Not, like, aggressively, but they're, like, yelling at you in Spanish. And they kind of usher you towards a car that's parked out near the park. And they kind of put him inside on the back seat and then take off without you, basically.
Okay.
And Jackson's just sort of like, okay, that was an eventful time.
So, are we still against shooting the fucker?
Who? Larkin?
Yeah.
Oh god, I thought you were talking about the professor.
I mean,
no.
Are you telling me that are you're trying to tell me that
how is this even remotely connected?
Well, you were saying to me before about death cults, and then you were saying, he didn't.
I've never
want
seen
to
anything
take...
like this in a death cult. This is something else.
But then you were saying that he didn't want to take the professor, and now all of a sudden, this happens. I don't believe in coincidences.
Does, do the death cults usually use some sort of, I don't know, golden implement or the like?
I mean, what do you mean?
Are they known
Looks
for
around,
anything in
makes-
particular?
Also, before I go any further, can I get a sanity check from all of you? Because you just watched a fucked thing.
Yes.
And even for the people that are used to seeing bodies, you're not used to seeing living lumps of fat.
I need a sanity check in real life right now.
What?
No.
Whoa!
Okay.
How, Okay,
Wow.
the three most balanced ones are Raymond, Murphy, and Cornelius somehow.
Cornelius does well
Very
under pressure,
critical
apparently.
fail.
Yeah.
Oh no, never
Whoa.
mind.
Well, so you all passed your sanity checks, which mean none of you take any sanity damage from that, so we can move on. Sorry, you're showing him the golden...
Just
thing.
first looking around to make sure no one's looking at us, because
Yeah.
we're out in the middle of the Let's get back there.
Yeah.
There was something Trinidad was holding. I reckon's what did it to her. Might be one of them some sort of German gas thing.
I mean, yeah, it could be, I guess. Look, I think we need to get back to the... to the hotel.
Is there a third hotel in this place?
I mean, no, not really. Not for our
Alright.
purposes. But I mean, this Nix is that whole plan of going with the professor, right? He's not going on any mountain expeditions anytime soon.
What about his student? Did we get anything from his student?
Have you not been listening, Cornelius?
No, I
think
was
she's
in the
got
I was in the
FDD,
library
yeah.
reading books, and then I did surgery. And there was a fire.
When we met up with you at the fire, I told you she was mummified.
Yeah, she's dead.
Oh, right. I thought that was just a mummified corpse you found. I was.
Yeah, it was a mummified corpse I found.
That
Related, we did
you
find
know
a
what?
mummified corpse.
You know what? This is a university or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
probably a
museum
fair
basement.
assumption.
It's a museum basement. Maybe you did find him mummified.
Gonna give that one to you, kid. Gonna give that one to you. Yep. No, new one. Somehow there's new mummies.
Right.
Did you mention the notebook?
No.
Okay.
I figured we'll wait till we're back at the
Alright.
place and lay everything out
So-
in one of the rooms.
So, you've got a choice here. Do you go back to, your hotel, or do you want to confront Larkin in his hotel, or do you want to just flee?
Well, I don't
No,
wanna-
first off,
I don't want to go near Larkin until I get to shoot him in the head.
well, while we're deciding, yeah, happy to go around the corner and make sure we're not seen to just show this.
Yeah. So he
Look,
looks
see
at
there, and
He looks at it and he's like, he says, I mean, it doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. I mean,
Please don't touch it. You'll become mummified.
he or as you say that, he touches it and puts it in his hand. Like, no, he grabs it. He's quick. He grabs it, and it's like he just sort of waves it in the air. It's like, it's fine. It's cold. And he even touches it on Raymond's hand just to prove even if he tries to touch away, he just touches him with it. And
Yeah.
it's cold. It feels fine. So it's like it's nothing.
Okay.
Raymond manages to resist punching the bastard.
It's like you guys know there's no such thing as magic spells, right? This is just a.
Oh, I get that, but there is science.
Will my
How much
appraise
science do you
check
get in
do anything
gold?
on this? Or does it have to
It's
be
not-
fine art?
It's
Your
not
archaeology would certainly tell you something about it.
How much science do you get in gas going over the trenches?
It's not gold that I'm worried about. It's electricity and things as such, and chemicals.
Well, it feels fine to me.
Well, that's the thing.
He scratches his chin with it just to sort of illustrate his point.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if you touch it and it's electric or it has chemicals on it which mummify you, that's more what I'm worried about.
I thought your archaeology was higher than that, Chip. You don't know.
Apparently
Yeah,
not.
yeah, we thought you were smart.
I
Jeez.
thought I was fucking smart too.
The stats are confusing.
I put it all in appraisal because that kind of made sense for my character, but now I realize
Yeah.
it's going to be very unhelpful.
Okay, no, do appraise it because that will help you too.
My camera's decided to die.
Jesus Christ. All right. It's a nice golden
It's
stick.
working on ours.
Yeah,
No.
there we go.
It's a nice gold stick that they found. You think it would be quite worth money,
It would
Well, I don't fucking know anything,
and
so
you know money is good.
Can be exchanged for goods and services.
money.
So where are you heading now?
Let you guys all know about having that room in the plan to watch overnight, so you all know the options.
then if
Ah.
someone's going to be staying in the room next to Larkin, and then if Lottie is concerned about Larkin being suspicious, we shouldn't then potentially have what he wants right in the room next to him.
Yeah.
True. But
I
where
vote
in the
that I
hotel
look
do you
after the
walk
dagger
past?
because I'm probably the last person he'd expect to have it out of our group.
I think Charles
You
would
mean
be
the
the last person to have it.
Speaking of daggers, he reaches over to take his knife back.
Thank you for that.
Well,
Very
the
helpful.
gold thing is not really a dagger. It's more just a length of gold, like it's been pulled off something.
So is it sort of, just so I get a picture in my head, is it sort of like just a shard of something bigger, or is it like...
I'll send you a picture in the
Okay.
Like a
and
key.
I'll put the picture. If everyone wants to give me a second, just give me a damn second. I'll put the I'll put a picture of it up on the screen for everyone.
I'll be up front with all of you. I don't trust anyone except for Raymond with the gold. And the last person who would be expected with it would be Charles. So that's my vote on who keeps it.
I just want to cut to Raymond being like, Raymond's gold, Raymond's gold. Sorry.
Charles went bye-bye.
Uh-oh. It's happened again. God, this is annoying me, this display capture. Anyway, I can't show you right now, but I can just... it's a length of gold with, like, strange shapes on it. In, like almost like a ribbon shape. Like it's been pulled out of something longer. Sorry about
Like-
my brief...
Like maybe
No.
it fell out of something that was actually used to mummify her.
Well, what's worried me is...
It looks like it
if
was
that
broken
thing-
long ago, just by...
Okay.
Even sort of Murphy's appraisal would say that break is not recent. Like, it's got, like, grime and stuff in
His
there.
appraisal. Even Murphy's
She
shit
got-
appraisal.
One of the fat slugs had a hole right there.
So, what do you mean? Like, look, I don't know. Like, there's got to be some explanation for that. Like a bug or some sort of insect that lives out in the jungle. I'm assuming that's what that is. And someone's like sicked that on him. Maybe
Did someone stick that on him? Stick that on Trinidad?
Yeah. Well, that's what
Did you just misgender her?
Trinidad?
It wasn't Trinidad a girl?
Yeah.
Stick that on him, the professor,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
him.
and on Trinidad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe. Look, okay. You guys need to make a decision here. Like, I'm with you, whatever you decide to do. But you guys gotta make the call.
Was Raymond going to stay at that room tonight?
Happy to.
Well then, if that's the case, I need you to give me the gold so that it's away from Larkin, and we'll keep it safe.
Looks to Lottie.
I would rather it go to Charles because Charles is least likely to, be expected to have it.
I don't want to speak out
Research.
of turn, ma'am, but
But Raymond, you
he
can
would
speak.
sell it for gold.
Okay,
He would sell it for booze.
Okay, well, then-
In like an hour.
You leave it with Charles, and like the next morning, he's like somehow choked on it. He's just lying dead in his room.
He's tripped and fell on it.
I mean, you seem like a great guy, but
No, I think you're entirely right. I think you
Hey.
should have it, Mr. Raymond.
I don't think you need to besmirch Charlie here. He's a good guy. He was
yeah.
He was just in a partying mood, and that's okay. he's sober now. If you want to, I think he's a good choice. He doesn't seem to be out here looking for money. He seems to be looking for fame.
Yes.
How about I just hold on to it then?
Okay.
We go and look it over with Professor, the new professor here. Motioning to Murphy.
Oh.
Just seeing all the
When you
books.
say the Professor, Jackson's like what?
The professor here and motions to all the books that they're still carrying, one would assume.
Well,
I'm legally a scholar, but I'm,
while I, respect Murphy quite, I also know of Murphy's reputation to stab people in the back quite frequently.
What? What's
What?
going on?
Am I wrong, Murphy?
Tequila?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hold on to it.
Might I suggest that we do a vote between us all here? We have the two candidates, Murphy and Lottie, and we can decide via popular opinion. I suspect I should stay out of this because I feel like my opinion would be swayed by who's paying me. But I think that might be a good way to solve this
Jackson
conundrum.
sort of puts up his hand and says, "Look, I want to put Charlie on the blocks here.
How about this? Yeah, I like that. Charles,
Should we all roll persuade and see if we can plead our case?
Yeah.
you hold on. Charles, you hold on to it. These
I
two
think
can
it should
read
be
off.
done by discussion rather than rolling, because you're the ones voting, so you can't really roll to persuade.
But
each
I
other.
originally said Charles and everyone was against it, but as soon as everyone else said it, it's like, yeah, that's fine.
Look, I'm just suggesting
I personally wanted to go to Murphy because there's no one I trust in this group more than Murphy.
Well, I mean, she pays your wages.
Correct. And if any of you are willing to pay me more, then perhaps that discussion will change.
Cornelius,
Yes.
how about I am willing to pay you more?
Hey, okay, look, Jackson.
Hey, look,
speaks
we're
up and
getting a bit
says-
far.
Says this is small potatoes. We're onto something big here.
Yep.
And if you guys need to stop bickering over this little lump of gold. We could.
Oh, I'm
makes you
happy
feel
for
any better-
I'm happy for Charles to have it. This is not over the gold. I just want
Oh,
Cornelius to be treated
okay.
If it
better.
makes you feel any better, let's just bury it in a hole somewhere, and we'll come back and get it.
No, I want Charles to have it.
Okay, Charlie.
That was my original plan.
Okay, Charlie, take the gold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And he
Sure.
yeah, it's like Charles takes the gold. So okay, so we've sorted out the gold. What are we doing now?
Well, it's up to Raymond if he feels comfortable going into the lion's den. I don't feel comfortable.
No. I'll go.
I mean, I can come with
You
you
go.
if you need help.
I want to get out quiet.
Oh, okay.
I'll go now. I'll wait there till early hours before first light and head back to the other hotel.
Okay.
Sounds
And-
good.
Yeah,
Let's
so
listen out.
I think so you head to the Hotel Espana. Are you going there in the middle of the day?
Going to walk past, like check it out, see. But thinking in the middle of the day, the other two are probably busy.
Okay, so you get there and you sort of step inside. The old lady that's the proprietress is kind of snoozing in her chair. You head upstairs to your room, and you sort of open the door, step inside, and as you're closing the door, you see him, but he doesn't see you. You see the figure of Mendoza, De Mendoza, stepping down the hallway. His features seem a lot more well, you saw him yesterday and he looked very gaunt. But seeing him now, he looks almost robust. Like his face is more filled out. His body, his clothes seem to be almost a bit too small for him. And his features are still set in that same sour, frozen ire as as you sort of quickly close your door and step back so he can walk past you. And I will leave the story there. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Can I just get the notebook? Would like the notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
The notebook would have been passed over with the thing.
Oh
yeah,
my god!
absolutely.
As long as I get to see something, fantastic.
Yes. To Charles.
Thank you everybody for coming to the first episode. It was good to get some more use out of this channel. Thank you everybody that's in the cast for dressing up and playing your parts.
I'm excited to get makeup off. It's so fucking heavy.
I'm excited to gladly go put it back on again. It took ages to take off.
I appreciate the compliments for my fake American accent.
Yeah, I need chain smoke.
I almost did a Spanish accent and chose against it, but I did do a Jamaican accent at one point.
You did do a Jamaican.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just kind of pick and choose. Yeah. So that's the end of our episode. I want to go through. I called Raymond Raymond, and then we all did a Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
Mac, you can certainly do that. I don't know when we'll play next. The idea was to make it bi-weekly, so once every 2 weeks. But depending on availability, that might change. Just I'd like to sort of keep it going, but we'll discuss that off camera. Well, that's exactly right, Violet Fox. I don't know anything about Spanish accents. I can only do the European Spanish accent with all the THs instead of C's. We're in lockdown. Do it tomorrow. Well, I don't think Chimp is in lockdown.
Yeah, I'm free as a fucking bird, baby.
It's like the
I can leave
only
my house.
state that isn't in lockdown in the whole of fucking Australia.
Give it time.
But thank you again, everybody, for coming and watching. We have a really good viewership, which is nice. I'm still a few followers away from 50, which is what we need for affiliate. I don't know what I'll do if it gets affiliated. Probably nothing.
Like a little die mode. Like a 12-sided die mode, I reckon.
I know that James said something would be the first emote on the channel, but I don't know. I didn't read it because I was in the middle of pretending to be a man from America. I also saw I saw Stoop getting excited about Apom looking like Dickon from The Secret Garden, and I saw it in the corner, and I'm like, I was really keen to suddenly bring it up, but then I was like, oh wait, I'll bring it up at the end when he thinks I've forgotten.
I love that, like, Apom's like, I mentioned it. I like that Apom's type is like brunette girls that are really mean, and then Stoop's type is now Apom.
Well,
Yay!
Apom, if you give 10 subs, on my channel, you can propose to Stoop. That's an ongoing offer.
Yeah.
That I came up with.
Yeah.
Do you need to watch full VOD to be able to follow future games? I don't think so. I
think we'll do recaps at the beginning of each.
We'll do recaps, and I'm planning to. Oh, sorry, Matt. I got mad at James for mentioning my other channel, and then I did it myself.
Stoop's going to read fanfic to Apom on stream,
and I'll probably put up something somewhere with like little recaps of the game, just sort of as a refresher for people that haven't watched the episode. I'm going to try and put these up as edited videos on YouTube. So I'll cut out a lot of the side talk, and obviously this stuff at the end and will be cut out. And I'll try and put some effects, some sounds and stuff in there as well. So I'll probably do that, and I'll put that up on I'll have to make a YouTube for Critical Venture. I'll do that. Remind myself to do that. So this is going to be going on for quite a while. They're the very start of a particularly long pre-written campaign called the Masks of Nyarlathotep, which is like considered to be the premiere Call of Cthulhu like pre-written campaign. And the funny thing is, Chimp, Crames, and T have all played it before with me, but they actually behaved differently this time. They basically went into that storeroom expecting a fight because they had one last time. But this time, they spent so much time talking to the professor that it had already happened.
Very different motivation.
So they got down there and found nothing.
To be fair, last time I don't think I was there because I ran back to the hotel.
This was when you ran back.
Yeah, and at the end of that scene, when they got in there and saw the corpse, T's character lost the maximum amount of sanity, had a sanity break, and ran away and hid in their room at the hotel.
Yeah,
whereas
what I wanted to do.
Whereas this time, both of them just kind of looked at the corpse and went, "Oh, that's fucked," and then just didn't do anything.
No, but the thing is, someone went in front of me and was like, "Oh, don't do that." This happened last time too. They went in front of me and they're like, "Don't go in there." I went, "Oh, I'm going in there," and I looked and I had the maximum sanity break, and I was like, "Ah!" So good.
I remember being able to shoot a gun, but I didn't get to this time.
I'm
That's
sure
fine.
there'll be opportunities to shoot guns.
Well, we stabbed a bitch.
Yeah, although it wasn't in the aim of killing him, although you may have. T's echoing probably because of we're in the same house.
Yeah, we are in the same house. I know, it's shocking.
I mean, I think they've kind of already cottoned on to the fact that there may be horror when they pulled the living rancid fat maggot out of that guy's stomach. I did appreciate like the fact that none of you got a sanity loss there, so you basically just stood around, watch Apom do impromptu surgery, and then just like, cool.
The sanity loss would have been from seeing Cornelius do something just so blindingly competent.
Just by sheer luck, though. There was no competence in it. It was by sheer luck. He just pulled out the knife, stabbed the guy in the stomach, and somehow managed to get right where the worm was and pull it out.
And also in a place that wasn't going to cause extreme blood loss.
Just completely.
Yeah, somehow.
You soaked a lot of. You got a lot of luck.
That
Used
was
up
so
on that
fun.
road. It was well worth it.
It was a good time.
So yeah, and like I said, I want to do more on this channel. And if people want to host like their own games on
I
this
have
channel,
ideas for games.
and you want to GM them, I'm happy to set you up so you can do that. And we can have different games running because like I've got so many that I want to run, but I'm sort of reminding myself that I can't run them all myself. And you can be VIP, James, when I have the ability to give VIPs. We're currently not affiliated, but our viewer numbers seem good.
Changing. I'm reading that now.
Oh yes, Cranes has got Changing the Lost, which is a good sort of game, sort of based around like the classical medieval approach to fairies,
fairies,
where they're just unpleasant, manipulative creeps.
You're stolen, and you get back with it changed.
And they basically don't like the fact that you've left. So there's that. I know that Mac has some ideas that he wants to do. Apom said he's got ideas as well. But yeah, like, basically anybody that wants to run things on here, just let me know and we'll work it out. I can join you to play in your game, or I can just set you up and watch and do admin stuff for you. When is episode 2 of the Hamondioso RPG happening? It's happening next Hamondioso.
I would love that. That was so good, the bear one.
You're in lockdown. Do it tomorrow.
Find a Secret Garden RPG and we'll play that.
No.
We won't be playing it on Critical Venture. I will not be having Secret Garden RP on Critical Venture.
Yeah, I'm happy to do another honey heist.
Oh, I would love that. It was so funny.
Oh.
But you need to
nice.
remember that a lot of you, like everyone except your character, died in the end of that, Mac.
Wasn't that because Mac fucked with everyone?
No, they all died saving Mac at the end of the heist, and then it turned out that Mac was like working, like he was a koala himself, and the koalas were the evil ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Dead by Daylight. I'm still salty, Mac.
It's so secret, everyone in Perth knows about it. Oh yeah, you were a sun bear, sorry. The sun bears are the villains. Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember. I thought you were just posing as a sun bear. And you were a koala underneath. I can't remember. I should point out that Honey Heist doesn't require any kind of preparation, so it was just like... It was just like I picked up the book and we decided what we were doing on the stream.
Mac keeps changing his mind on what bear he was, so I don't believe a thing that's coming out of his
He
mouth.
was Mike Two Bear
Definitely
Arms.
a bear.
He was this guy.
No, he keeps saying he was a brown bear, he was a sun bear.
Okay.
Yeah, he keeps changing.
I mean, I would say rewatch the VOD, but I don't think it exists anymore.
Nah, bros.
Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, but there's plenty of games that we could. Can we do Honey Heist this weekend for my long stream? Sure. I'm fine with doing that. Yeah, like the rules are on one page. Anyone could run it.
Everyone, I'll be back in just a second. I'm so sorry.
No.
Oh, go for it.
I played the game as a brown bear that was revealed to be an evil soul. Okay, mate. You're so upset about this. Mike Two Bear.
Hey, you're not a sun bear.
But yeah, James, we can do Honey Heist. But you need to yeah, the rules are like it was very simple. It was just like roll a d6 to do bear things and roll d6 to do not a bear things. And then if either of your stats got higher than like a 6, I think it was, then you either became a bear or became too much of a criminal, and you're out of the game. Yeah, I did like Mike Two Bear Arms. But yeah, James, I'm happy to do one. If you want to get people together for it, I'll send you the rules for it because there's literally one page. There's not much to it.
Single page PDF.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
It's
My
brilliant.
favorite part of Christ's other channel is that he has 2 Mac emotes.
I do have 2 Mac emotes.
Yeah.
One's Mac's character from Honey Heist, the other one is Mac himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, if everyone wants to see that, tune in on at James's long stream, which is on the 13th. So that's a Saturday for us because it'll be his 13th. So it'll be a Saturday
cool.
for most of the Australians in the audience.
Fine.
But anyway, you can look at James's channel and stuff. I'll shout him out.
So the 14th for us. Yeah. I can do it.
Actually, I don't know if the shout-outs even work on this. I don't know if I've set them up. So Secret Garden RPG exists. Wow.
Of course it does.
The lesson is you didn't set it up, I set it up.
But
Although, Stoop, how mad would you be if you run that, but APOM doesn't play? If you just have someone RPing as APOM RPing as someone.
Oh man. But there's so many games that like I could recommend. Like I could go on for hours about like tabletop role playing games because I love them. And there's so many. There's like what's it called? Tales from the Loop, which is basically like Stranger Things. Like you play as kids investigating like weird shit, and nobody dies, but like it's just so you don't have to deal with like kids getting like it's not called Cthulhu.
Is that a bit of a Scooby-Doo like thing as well?
It is, but it can be anything. But it's like, except it's not. Doesn't turn out to be fake. It's like it can be like dinosaurs that have somehow been transported to this time, or it can be like robots or a mummy.
Ooh.
Like I think Jackson Bailey did something. I don't know if he'd used that system, but he did something similar, and it was like a.
Yeah, Violet Fox, Kids on a Bike is a fun.
and he
Just
had
some-
like he had like a mummy that they had to like befriend.
Get to my-
If there is a
That's my-
Scooby-Doo role-playing game, and it's not too expensive to find the rule books, that's one I'd love to play.
It's a
I'd love to
Ghostbusters
be
role-playing
Scooby-Doo.
game.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think that the one that Cry was talking about, you could just reskin it to be
Yeah.
Scooby Doo easy.
Oh, yeah, pretty
Oh
easy.
yeah. I want to
But
be Fred.
there's probably one.
You want to? Okay, hold on. You want to be Fred of all characters?
Because he's the worst. He's so dumb.
Yeah, my summer with Nyarlathotep. Like that I haven't listened to all of it, but I really love the vibe of that game. And I there's all sorts of things that I would love to like run on the stream. Like obviously I need to keep my myself from doing too much
Yep.
GMing and DMing and keepering. So for the moment I'm just working on this.
Hi, Violet.
Good.
Hi Violet.
Hey, Violet.
I'm just working on this Blood Rose City, which will be back as soon as the Sabat book is released. No connection. I just want to have that book first for no reason that you need to worry about. And also a secret project that APOM and I are working on, but that one won't be revealed until we've
That's
got,
a while off.
Yeah, that's a while off. We've got a lot of work to do for that. But in the meantime, I might run something else. Our D&D game, we're not sure where it's at the moment because one of our members is going through some stuff, and that's all good. And we've promised to wait for them until they're ready to jump in, and that's fine. I thought about running another D&D game, but I like this instead, and I pretty much brought everybody from that to this instead. I know I didn't bring Bishop, but I want to kind of nail down a time that's better for Bishop, but I didn't think this time would suit because I think it's the very early morning.
Early morning.
Yeah.
We also need a jazz game.
Yes.
Well, that's the secret project.
Yeah.
We won't
Oh,
say
right.
any more about it, but that's
That's all we can say at the moment.
yeah.
But
The secret project
Jazz is
revolves
involved.
around jazz. T, you know what it is. I've told you.
I know, but I'm just saying we need a game with jazz.
Yeah,
I
so
would
got that set up, and I'm looking for something else that I might run on here, but for now it kind of depends on what I think would be good. Probably something rules light to counteract this Call of Cthulhu, which is very rules heavy. But yeah,
Maybe just a bunch of bear heists, honey heists.
I like running
Monster
Honey
of the
Heist,
Week.
but I want to run it. Oh, that's a good idea.
is there an
I've
actual
got
like
them all if you ever
heist,
want.
What's that?
tabletop game? Is there an actual like a group of ne'er-do-wells break into a vault to steal a diamond
Shadowrun.
from a wealthy kind of fella? Is there
If
a
you're
kind
wanting rules light,
I mean, Shadowrun.
there's the Sprawl, which is
Yeah.
like your Monster of the Week for a cyberpunk setting.
I would go rules
That's
heavy
cool.
for Shadowrun if I had to, because I know those rules already. But yeah, we could do Shadowrun, which is basically just being chaotic, anarchic, like gangsters.
It's
just fucking shit
cyberpunk.
up. Yeah,
I
cyberpunk.
like what Crames just did there, but like I didn't realize he was going to get the book, but he was like, "Oh yeah, here's some information that you might find useful." I was like, "Okay, bye."
I have it.
Yeah,
and You'll have to chase me to get it.
If you can fucking catch me.
Yeah, Stu. Shadowrun was one of the initial things I wanted to pitch that you and Apom would play, because I feel like you would have a lot of fun just like blowing up corporate America
Yes.
with no regard for anything else.
That's yeah. We'll talk.
I personally love this one.
This Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, this is the one I
Oh,
like.
this is fun. Yeah,
Oh,
I
this
do
is, yeah,
like
this is,
that.
well, I'm definitely keeping this going. I'm just talking about a third game to.
Yeah, no,
to get-
I'm just saying this is my jam. I like 1920s and I
I'm
like
not gonna ask T
scary
to play any
monsters.
more stuff because I know that T is basically every time I think of a game, T is like I always think, oh, T will just be in it, and like I know that T doesn't like being in everything and having to keep track of 100 different characters in her head.
Yeah. I like being in some, but I just feel like overwhelmed by like a million different things all the time.
Call of Cthulhu has so many things. It's got video games. It's got a board game. Yeah, it's got a board game. We own the board game, so if you ever manage to visit us, you can play it.
I have.
Yeah,
We have so many board
Yeah.
games.
Yes.
We don't play them because it's just the two of us. But Apon, when you're here, we can play a bunch of board games.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
wait
have
for-
Risk.
Pardon? No.
You have Risk.
We have mostly Call of Cthulhu, Monopoly.
I want to play the zombie one.
the Dead of Winter, which is like a zombie
Dead of
game.
Winter's good.
Yeah, I want to play it when Apom's here because I miss playing it.
Maybe we could do that on Critical Venture. We could like set up this webcams and play it on that.
I'll have all my equipment
There's actually, yeah, and there's actually I mean, not for this particular, but the tabletop simulator has an amazing mod for. It's exactly the same.
Oh,
Just in 3D.
T and I have Tabletop Simulator.
It's a free mod that someone's made.
Cool.
Yeah, I bought it for 4 people.
Stoop, you'll
That
get here
never played
eventually.
it.
You'll get here eventually, Stoop. We believe in you.
Yeah.
It might not be, probably won't be this weekend, but eventually.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Like I said, there's other games I want to run. I do have I do like the idea of doing Shadowrun, but I have a specific group of people I want to ask to do that. And Apom is sort of becoming the proto T in the sense that I ask. That I ask him to be in everything because he always agrees. Whereas T, like the last time I asked T to be in something, she was like,
I disagree.
I know you always agree, but I can tell that you're like, that's another thing I've got to learn.
No, you expect me to learn all the things to it where I'm just like, can you just make me a character and I'll be in it? I don't want to learn all the things around it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would like to run a Shadowrun game. So yeah, we'll talk about that off channel. Does anyone have anything that they would? I mean, I know James wants to plug his long subathon stream, which is on this weekend. So it's going for like. He set it up as like certain amounts of like subs and bits and stuff and follows will increase the time that the subathon runs for. I think up to a maximum of 24 hours. I don't know if he plans to go. Oh yeah, Mac, who's also in the chat, has a podcast called Pointless Reinvention, which I listen to and I find very funny. Mac's the funny one. I hope no one else from that podcast is in the chat to hear me say that.
That's the funny one.
Yeah, it's on all God podcast apps. None of those godless ones. So yeah, it's yeah. So it's Yak is also making a podcast where people make a playlist and then discuss the choices. A playlist based on a theme that Yak gives them. Joel Dusha was on a recent episode of Mac's podcast, and I think there's going to be some other members of Sans Pants Radio on a new one coming up. Jackson. Okay, I didn't know if I could say it or not. Jackson Bailey did a recording on Saturday. Ooh, so Chimp, you know them, but apparently they didn't include Joel Zammett, and now they're in a war with Joel Zammett. And Joel Zammett's Chimp's favourite one, so sorry, Meg.
No, he was the only one I made a conversation with.
Yeah.
But if the Sans Pants people are against him, then I will commit violence.
No, they're not against.
him.
No, they're not against him. He's against Mac because he wasn't invited on the podcast. But
Why didn't you invite Joel Zammett?
I don't know. They won't invite me on it either, but I'm not funny enough.
No.
Ha ha ha! Mac, I'm calling you out.
Then why not invite Joel?
So yeah, Apom streams, but you have to kind of catch that.
No one
You
needs
have to catch that in the
go to my
wild like a
stream.
Pokemon. And
Yeah.
Apom stream is more like
An epiphany.
you kind of have
Sort of
he kind of threatens you with his stream, and you have to kind of he doesn't want you to be there, and if you're there, he's actively annoyed by it.
He actually
Completely
had-
forgotten that you can do stuff without streaming. He's just forgotten.
No, he actually had a stream once saying, "Don't watch me, watch Lady T, Crichton, and Jazz Stitch instead." That was his title of his stream.
He did a 24-hour stream, and at one point he had this video of him and like another him just sort of looking at each other, like eating breakfast in awkward silence. And then he went to bed and left that on for like 4 hours.
It was great.
And then at like 7 o'clock in the morning, he was still like he was too sore to continue because he had a bad back. So Mac and I just went on his 24-hour stream and just started talking. He wasn't even there. We were just like talking while he was like lying down on the floor. And so Mac and I were just filling in for him.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah, and
funny.
Stoop was there as well. Yeah, so he just went into chat. Yeah, Abel was in chat on his own 24-hour stream while Max, Stoop, and I were having a conversation on the stream.
Yes.
I see that as a win.
Yeah. Chimp has an Instagram that you can presumably observe with your human eyes.
Hold on, I'll get it.
And
I don't do stream.
obviously there's Laxlam, who is streaming again, sporadically.
It's streaming again, you say.
I saw
I
you
don't
stream
think
the
I've
other day.
streamed since I moved. Maybe I did.
That's paid. Oh, Chimps, thank you for my shout out. I appreciate that. I do stream. I just have had a break for over a week.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like the idea of I actually had an idea for this stream. If it gets made affiliate, I will do a very rules light 24-hour stream where each sub will mean 15 minutes of time, and I'll just do a long form improvised game with whoever wants to jump in and be in the game. So I don't know necessarily what I'll do, but I might do that. And the cool thing is, I don't expect many people to sub, so we only have to go for an hour, and I'll have fulfilled my promise.
I feel like, and I said this, Mac's gonna make you go forever.
Yes, I'm baiting the subs, T. use some deftness.
You didn't say that to me.
I'm kidding. Yes, Chimp drew something. Oh yes, everyone's looking at your Instagram now.
Chimp is very talented, and that's the
Yeah.
only time I will publicly compliment them.
Chimp.
Thank you for the compliments, but another part of me as well is like, fuck, I hope so, because I did win 2 awards, and I don't want to be like bragging about it, but I'm also like, okay, this is, you know, when you have doubts and you're like, what if everyone likes it, but they're lying? This is a good thing, you know?
I'm
So
not
those are
lying.
my ideas.
Your stuff is bloody great, and the project you've been telling me about sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah. Chimp is very good. Like, they drew a picture of me with like my hair up and stuff. It was just amazing. I don't know where it is though.
Oh, Chimp, that reminds me. I need to ask you a question. Oh, you've hidden yourself. Can I ask you? I need to ask you a question when we get off stream.
Chimp has gone into their cocoon.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't like my compliments.
I'm sorry, Chimp.
I'll no longer compliment you, you fucking cunt.
I was looking on the tabletop RPGs thing to see if anyone else is playing Call of Cthulhu, but it doesn't look like anyone is. So I can't really raid someone playing Call of Cthulhu.
But we're listed. But we're also listed under the tabletop RPG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I
Not
looked.
the-
I don't see it. Maybe we can just raid someone playing the game Call of Cthulhu. Is anyone playing it?
Good.
I almost tried to raid our own channel. I'm a fucking idiot. Let's just raid Hefner. Hefner's there.
Yeah, Hefner's
We
on.
like
Hefner's
Hefner.
always reliable.
So thank you everybody
We
for being
do
here.
like Hefner.
Like I said, I'm going to try and do as much more on this channel, because this channel I actually have like a solid like frame of what I want to do, as opposed to my own channel, which is just whatever. It tends to just be whatever game I'm playing with people at the moment. And I was almost going to say, should we play Dead by Daylight after this, but it's too late.
It's
What's the time?
Yeah, it's
fucking 10:30.
Too late.
We're in lockdown.
It's true.
Yeah, but some people work.
Ah, yeah, true.
Great.
Not me, but some people.
So raid Hefner. No raid message. Everyone just say hello to Hefner. Tell everyone in his stream to follow Critical Venture.
The secret raid message is good cock.
Yeah. You can use a secret raid message if you like. Maybe that'll encourage him to tell everyone to follow. So yeah, thank you everybody. There'll be more. Definitely more to come. I definitely want to do Shadowrun. Honey Heist on James's stream. I will either run that or be involved in that, depending on what James wants to do. Again, if anyone has stuff they want to run, like a tabletop game they want to run and stream, let me know. We can put it on this channel. There's plenty of open spots for it.
I have 2 clans.
And I will try and put a Shadowrun game together. So if anyone's interested in that, please let me know, because my groups tend to fill up pretty quickly when I get ready to run stuff. So do let me know. And even if you feel like your time won't adjust, we can find a time that suits everybody. Yeah, that'd be good, Mac. I would enjoy that. So now we're going to go to Hefner's channel. So wave goodbye, everyone.
And tell him good talk.
Bye.